Discover new music. Get listener power.
Alrighty, everybody. Welcome on into the Central Committee stream with your host, Mike from PA. We are live once again. And ladies and gentlemen, what a day do I have for you today. The United States of America has lost the Iran war. And, you know, I have a lot of complicated feelings on this. But at the same, like, I don't want to hand it to Trump. I don't want to hand it to Trump. But for most American presidents, they wouldn't start a war and lose it within 6 months. That's pretty fucking impressive, honestly. Normally, we have to drag this shit out for years. But Donald Trump has successfully lost 2 wars as president. And honestly, in hindsight, it'll be considered intelligent that he surrendered. It's actually crazy. Like, I want to be, you know, obviously it was a disaster to start the war, which is the more important thing for people to learn. Like, no, obviously starting the war, he's a complete fucking idiot. But I feel like this Iran war, as horrible as it was, and for the thousands of people who lost their lives for no fucking reason, for criminal Netanyahu's war, this might actually be a useful lesson for America. Don't start these fucking wars. Did you see Mrs. Harris gloating about how she wouldn't have done any of this? She would have launched a ground invasion rather than surrender. That's for sure. She would have done we got to do a surge. America has got to do a surge we got to surge it to Iran. I don't know that Kamala Harris would have bombed Iran, but I also don't know if she would have stopped Israel from bombing Iran. Like, I legitimately, as much as I want to say Kamala Harris would have been better, I don't know that I believe it. Major attack on Moscow. Oh my lord. Drone warfare is getting insane. And like, of course, this is actually just what's going to happen. Like, the United States is vulnerable. The Gulf showed America is vulnerable. Iran is vulnerable. Like, attack has become better than defense. And we are, you know, in history of war and conflict, defensive technology gets really good. And then all of a sudden there's an offensive innovation that offensive technology is really, really good. And then eventually defensive technology you know what I mean? So we have these waves of offense versus defense. And right now, offensive technology is way better than defensive technology. Presumably there will be maybe there'll be a new evolution in defense. But right now, defense is a lot more expensive. How much should I tip my landlord this month? Minus whatever your rent was. And the problem that the Ukrainians have is Ukraine as a country, I don't want to say it's toast, but there's never been a country that has suffered more than Ukraine is right now. Ukraine in World War II lost less population than Ukraine today. Like, Ukraine, I believe in 1991 had around 52 million. I posted this like yesterday. They're projected to have 25 million by 2050. That would be a over 50% loss of population in 60 years. That has never happened as far as I'm aware. That's worse than World War II, which was absolutely devastating to Ukraine. I think they lost like 30-some%. The fall of the Soviet Union has basically been disaster after disaster after disaster for Ukraine. And I think one of the things, like, I'm not in favor of Russia. In fact, I think that the Ukrainians have the absolute right to do any of this, right? They're under attack. They have the right to do any of this. Use whatever drone, you know what I mean? This seems totally justified to me. The problem is just the structural reality. The world relies on Russian oil, just like the world relies on Gulf oil. You can't really stop that. And if you actually started to see a lot more success in doing it, you're just going to damage the rest of the world economy, and your allies are going to start pulling back. That's the problem that Ukraine has, is Ukraine is beholden to Europe and the United States. But it's pretty impressive. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Is this a real shot? It almost looks like, how does the lid lift so perfectly? It almost seems AI-like. It seems AI-like. It's like the way it the lid floated. I'm sure it's real. I'm not saying it's fake. Zoran's parade is starting. This is why Zoran is good at this, because people are not annoyed by him doing this. Because of his positive energy, people want him there. right? Like you could easily imagine this going wrong. Like if you were a dour politician, bad vibes, forcing yourself there, people would be like, oh God, here we go again. But because he's got such good fucking vibes, he's attractive. This is a case of the like, you know, the meme where it's like, hey, you want to go out? Ew, human resources. Hey, you want to go out? Yes, please. This is one of those cases where the hot guy is getting treated pretty privileged at work. Aura at work. The thing is, like, he has expressed himself authentically enough about being a Knicks fan. And he has made being part, and the city has embraced him. That's the other thing that people aren't understanding is like, this is working for Zoran, not just what he's doing, but how he's doing it and who he's doing it. This is where social intelligence is like unmatched. And that's why Zoran would be a presidential frontrunner, but for the fact that he can't be president. That is such bad luck for us, but it's okay. He could be a senator. It's fine. Be the Senate majority leader. Like, that's an important job. I'm almost glad he can't be president, because then when you become president, then you go what? Sit on a billionaire yacht? Thoughts on Europe being stupid and not doing any diplomacy with Russia regarding Ukraine and the whole EU potentially being dragged in? I don't really see that happening. Couple things that I would say. One, Ukraine has demonstrated a strong national identity that I think a lot of people had doubts about. I think unironically what Russia did by invading Ukraine is make the Ukraine that they cannot defeat. They had a lot more success through like subtle shit. When they went overt, they've pretty much created the Ukraine of their nightmares. That's number one. So as you can see, invading is stupid. Stop doing it. I think that's why Hassan, myself, a lot of other people that were watching Russia, like we doubted the invasion would happen because it was so unwise. It's sort of like the attack on Iran. It was so stupid. We were like, they're not going to do that. Oh my God, they did it. That's kind of the problem with geopolitics, right? Like, just because you can analyze something rationally and say that makes no fucking sense and is dumb as fuck doesn't mean people aren't going to do it. That's what trips you up in life. Just because something is stupid as fuck and there's no reason to do it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Sometimes people confuse like what they evaluate to be rational with the range of possibility. And that is a fatal, fatal mistake. The range of possibility is not what you judge it to be reasonable. Oftentimes your judgments are incorrect. So you need to guard against the range of possibility, not just what you judge. Does that make sense? It's like, why do I wear a seatbelt? I wear a seatbelt not because I'm going to crash, but because somebody's going to do something I don't expect that makes no fucking sense and hit me. So, you know, that's how you have to think about geopolitics as well. Is it's like, you know, you have to treat it like you're driving on the 101. Just because you didn't do anything wrong doesn't mean you can't get hit. He's going to get some shit because they underestimated turnout. World Trade Center is getting ready for this and NYPD is escalating. I mean, it's just... anarchists are going to get mad at me. But you just cannot fuck around with crowds. This is not something that you can just let happen. You have to keep people under control. Because if you don't, like 50 people could get trampled. So like, no. It's actually one of the things police are unironically needed for. Like, if not, you know, we need people that have the authority to control people for crowd situations. Like, unironically, you cannot abolish crowd control. Well, I mean, you can if you don't mind like hundreds of people getting crushed every fucking month. Bad Micro is being an asshole chatter. All right, you're snitching. I better see something annoying. Where are they? You're snitching. Okay, let's see. I see a lot of emotes. Omega lol, Kek W, what's your what? They're just doing zero head. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Okay, they zero headed you. Who cares? Be a little bit more thick skinned than that. They're blaming JD Vance, Mike. If they did something I missed, tell me, but it's fine. Bad Micro, be nicer to people. Bad Micro, be nicer to people. I don't really like zero head, to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of zero head, but it has zero head, so it is what it is. I try to stop myself from saying shit like that, even though it's hard. Like, it really is hard. I do think the act of trying to control myself is a good thing. You know, like, I don't like the R slur for that reason. Because I just feel like it is just classless. What is Zero Head? It's an emote that means that you're brain dead. This is why crowds are scary. Oh yeah, the Soul Halloween. I remember we were streaming when that happened. The interview with Boots Riley was awesome. Yeah, we're gonna watch some of that because it was fucking sweet. I'm so happy for Caroline, man. I'm so happy for Caroline. Can I just say that? Like, Caroline has taken so much shit, you know, as somebody who, like, an actor, a writer, who spoke out on behalf of Palestine, was a huge organizer and, you know, for the writer's strike. And just, you know, caught a lot of stalking and attacks and slanders and all sorts of shit because of what she would, because she came out and stood out for what's right. Her character, and she's always the kindest, most thoughtful person. She literally raises the quality of this website just by existing. I am a quangrous believer, you know? Common Caroline W, absolutely. She's the most even-keeled person on her side. I wouldn't even put it that way. I think Caroline is passionate. She's just really emotionally intelligent, which I don't know if you noticed, I'm not and Hasan is not. So it's nice to see someone who's like emotionally intelligent representing our side. That's it. Also, she's an actual theater kid, not a failed theater kid. You know what I mean? Because when a failed theater kid rises up, they become Asmongold or Ben Shapiro. But an actual theater kid who's like not a failed theater kid, she's an actual theater kid. Just again, raises the quality. Raises the quality. A successful theater kid. Aren't all theater kids failures by definition? No. I mean, they do like being the center of attention, but again, this is a streaming site, so that's fine. You know, it is what it is. My brother is not a failure. Exactly. No, I was a sound booth backstage theater kid. We're not nearly as bad. So anyway, Caroline, the reason I started glazing Caroline is that I'm so glad that she got to hang out with Boots. You know, I'm so glad that Hasan is getting connected to Hollywood better. Like, part of the problem that we have is that we haven't flexed our muscles enough. And Hasan is doing that now. You know, I've done it a bunch as well. I've done, you know, listen, my community is a lot smaller than Hasan. So we've punched above our weight, you know, guys. So we're doing well here as well. But I am just so excited and happy to see him doing it. And I want LA to be our next. That's got to be our target. You know, Nithya worries me. That's the only thing. Like, I wish Nithya trusted me. I wish Nithya trusted me and Hasan and like respected us, which I'm not sure that she does. You know, so I just wish we had more influence. That's the thing. Like, because I think that we have insights. I think we have insights, you know, and it's frustrating, you know, it's frustrating. Again, I'm not trying to be anti-Nithya. Like, I know that people think she sucks or whatever. I don't know her well enough. I wasn't here for the fights, you know. People are so eager to call people opportunists and shit in DSA, and it's fucking insane to me. It's fucking insane how people are eager to be like throwing that shit out, and it may be true. Right? It may be true. But anybody who's showing up at DSA, even now, I want to give them the benefit I want to give them the benefit and give them the full opportunity. I don't like the way that people think that DSA is some sort of precious little flower that we have to protect. And it's like the opposite. We need to be like much more powerful than we are now. Like, look what they're doing against Claire. Look what they're doing against Daria Lisa. They're like fucking pouring millions of dollars, and it's people that so-called progressives. Look at what Progressive Victory did to rat fuck them. Look what Scott Stringer is doing to rat fuck them. Look what the teachers union is doing to rat. Like, we are in a battle of our lives. We don't have the luxury of just throwing people away because, you know, Marxism says so. Nithya's a Zionist. I don't think Nithya is a Zionist. I think Nithya, like, she took it on the chin for doing dumbass shit and then apologized, right? Like, she's dismissive and arrogant and thinks internationalism is not necessary. God, I hope that's not true. Again, Nithya, like, the thing is, like, I think Nithya might win. Like, the reason why I don't want to be so negative against Nithya is I think she might win. And I think it would be very foolish of us to not bend over backwards to try to make her better. You know, like, it's like Karen Bass versus Caruso, right? Like, a lot of people, including Hassan, backed Bass over Caruso. Why? Because Caruso was a lot worse. Well, if we made that for Bass, we're not going to do it for Nithya, who's literally better, right? Like, so I would like to... I'm not throwing Nithya under the bus yet, like, which may surprise people. Nithya saw Ray in the left lane, endorsed Bass, then imagined herself in the left lane and undercut Ray. She's not on her side. She's a cynical careerist. Let me just say something. First of all, careerist is a meaningless smear. I use it too. It doesn't mean anything. Who gives a shit? Somebody is trying to advance their political career. That's not an argument. Can we keep it fixated on, like, come on, she wants to be she's going from city council to mayor. How careerist? Okay. Jerk off motion. Okay, that doesn't matter. Stick to the stuff that matters. I fear she'll be a Biden creator DSA membership that will set back the leftist movements in LA by souring the city against leftist politics when she had axed the Bass Agenda 2.0 while calling herself a leftist. That is my fear as well. My fear is that she won't actually have the wherewithal to push, you know, like that's my fear. But I also think that let's imagine 2028. Karen Bass is not endorsing AOC. Karen Bass is almost certainly behind Kamala Harris or Gavin Newsom. LA is one of the most important cities in our country, or, you know, in the country, California being the biggest state. The California primary is super important for 2028. Nithya would almost certainly be an AOC simp. Nithya is almost certainly going to do a better job as mayor than Bass would, I think. So structurally, the LA like Democratic Party will be a lot more pro AOC if Nithya is mayor. You know, I think Nithya is also like she can be intimidated by us. I don't think Karen Bass gives a shit about us. I don't know. Again, this is all like high level stuff. That's not even necessarily. Again, what I'm trying to say is I'm still trying to figure this shit out. This is a one situation where I don't think firing off the hip is the right call. Right? Hassan brought her on his stream for a reason, right? It's because he feels the same way. And this is Los Angeles, for God's sake, okay? This is not fucking Omaha. Even though Omaha is important as fuck. I should have thrown Omaha under the bus. It's like actually important. But like, it's not Little Rock, okay? Like, even Little Rock's kind of important. But you get my point. Basically, every city's important. This is just... He's supporting Nithya. Yeah, I mean, he wanted Nithya to win. And like for people saying like she saw Ray in the left lane and then careeristly won. I mean, like I liked Ray. I gave Ray a lot of money. I supported Ray. But Ray didn't, you know, Ray hadn't organized in DSA long enough. So the organization was not willing to support her. So if you're going to run in the DSA lane, but you didn't work with DSA and DSA doesn't endorse you, well, then that's your fault, right? Ray was too green. She didn't have the juice. Now, again, that's all fixable. I actually don't even think it's that big of a deal. I think the worst thing that could happen is if you lose like Ray did and then get bitter. I think Ray should look at the city for where she did best and then try to run for something in that area. Whether it is like state rep, state senate, you know, Congress even. Like, I think she should do what Bernie Sanders did, which is, hey, she came out of nowhere. She acquitted herself pretty well. And her lane got cut off by someone else who had more clout, which is what Nithya has. And then, you know, learn, grow, move on. It's okay. If Nithya wins, it can be touted as another DSA victory to have both NYC and LA mayors being DSA. That's big in general perception of DSA. I mean, I agree with you. I think Nithya is, the thing is, like, being considered pro-Israel is such a dangerous position. I don't want that to be associated with DSA in any way. And I don't think she is pro-Israel. It's just she had some group that was pro-Israel endorse her at some point, and then she tried to be like, oh, I you know, Hamas is bad. Like, she did cringe shit that was way out of touch. California has 0 DSA state reps. I know, it's insane. Aaron Burnett talking about DSA.
New tonight, a Democratic socialist on the verge of leading another one of America's big cities, this time his own backyard. Janice Lewis George, currently with a significant lead to become the next mayor of Washington, which would put her on a potential collision course with the president, of course. It was less than a year ago that another Democratic socialist, Zohran Mamdani, became mayor of New York City. And Harry Enton is out front to tell us something we don't know. Okay, Harry. Now,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
know that there are some as to what a Democratic really is.
Yes.
But I guess just on the base of it, who is more popular?
That's actually a good thing. I don't like when people are trying to make us commit to some very narrow definition of democratic socialist. It's a good thing that we don't have to have some sort of program handed down from God that if we vary off of it at all, that means we're not a democratic. Like that, you should resist that. The lesson of the Soviet Union and the lesson of China is socialism is a vibe. That is the lesson. It's not, it has to be this exact program. You must produce 1,000 tons of steel using backyard furnaces only. Blah, 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 blah. Like, that's resist. Resist. Did you hear about the PSL expose that revealed top-down prescription for socialism from a cadre? Yeah, I know. I mean, there's a reason why I've always been a DSA guy and not like Mike from PSL. Radical Hasanista says, I've been trying to sub. I thought it was my card, but so I got a new one, but it still won't work. Is there anything wrong with my account? I don't see anything. I don't see any notes on you. I don't see anything.
Democrats or Democratic socialists?
Well, among Democrats themselves,
I like to help people with tech support, chat.
Democratic Socialists of America have a higher net favor rating than the Democratic Party does, at least those who are members of Congress. I mean, just take a look here. Dem Socialists of America, plus 17 points. Democrats in Congress, plus 4 points. No wonder that...
This, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I've been talking about. To my DSA brethren, we must run as many people for as many offices as we can. Like, this is the like, I know a lot of people are like, entryism doesn't work because it didn't work. This is a cognitive error that stupid people make, which is something didn't work one time, therefore it does not work, right? And I attribute that to honestly being unemployed. Like, I think thinking like that is being unemployed, because sometimes a thing works and sometimes it doesn't. Whether you're a doctor or a nurse doing a treatment, whether you're a mechanic, whether you are work at construction, whether you like, sometimes things work. And in other conditions, that same thing done perfectly is not gonna work. Sometimes it's a probability. Like, for example, you have cancer and they're like, okay, we're gonna do chemo. 95% of the time the chemo works. 5% of the time it doesn't. Does that mean that the chemo doesn't work because it didn't work that 1 in 20 time happened? And thinking in probabilities, thinking in odds is the best way to level up your intelligence, right? Like, that is the single best way to get smarter, is to go like, we are all at a bundle of probabilities. It's not that things do or do not happen, and then whatever that roll of the dice was is the way the roll of the dice will always be. Like, I'll give you an example. This is how you should think about this. Let's say for Bernie Sanders to win, he had to roll a 3, 2, 12, or 11 on two die. He rolled a 10. Does that mean that it's impossible for him to roll a 2, 3, 11, or 12? No, it's just unlikely. But if you're given those opportunity to roll dem bones, and if you hit, you win it all, then you roll the fucking dice. It all depends what your costs are, what odds you're getting laid. You know, you take those shots, you take those dice rolls. That's life. Life is just a series of turns of the card. Get it Twisted. Gamble. Yeah, Daria Lisa, we had to reschedule, unfortunately. They only had one slot. They only had one slot today, and we couldn't make it happen. I'm sorry, chat. We'll bring her on sometimes after she wins. Have you looked at the Montana Senate race where there's a semi-viable independent candidate? Yes, I have. Have you seen the guy running against Jake Auchincloss? Yes. There's a couple people I want to start promoting. The next one is the, what's her name from, is it Milat from Denver? How do you pronounce her name? I'm so bad at names. I'm gonna bring her on. Milat. Yes, or Milat. Milat or Milat? I'm gonna bring her on because I think their primary is at the end of June. Unfortunately, Dara Lisa's is next Tuesday. So I might be too radical for them, you know? Like, they might be nervous right now. Not that they've communicated that with me at all. I am kind of, like, pugilistic with people. New Justice Devs for Daria Lisa.
Daria Lisa is what this moment calls for. I'm proud to support Daria Lisa for Congress.
He's such a real one for this. He's such a real one for this. I think a lot of people really underestimate how awesome it is that Zoran is going so hard for her. Like, he's fighting the Working Families Party. He's fighting the Elizabeth Warren crew. He's fighting a bunch of, like, progressives. Like, that is fucking huge, man. Same thing with Claire. Like, he's fighting, like, the Elizabeth Warren people. And I've been telling you that the Elizabeth Warren scumbags, the progressives accept Palestine, the McMorrows, the Warrenites, Brad Landers, they're all going to be a problem. God, I dislike Brad Landers so much. Holy shit, that guy sucks. The fact that he would endorse Claire and Dara Lisa, what a fucking rat, dude. He's in commercials with them, and then he's like, I'm not endorsing, but fuck you. God, I hate that guy. I'm canvassing for her today, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Let's make this happen. Yeah, I need to get, like, I'll get a canvassing link or something.
New York, Daria Lisa for Congress, for the people. Daria Lisa has stood on the front lines, taking on Trump's
Bowman.
ICE against bad landlords, reuniting families, fighting for everyday New Yorkers. Adriano talks.
By the way, notice that Jamal Bowman is fighting for her, right? Like, remember all those people that were attacking Jamal Bowman? And I was like, hey, don't attack Jamal Bowman. And it'll help Zionism. And then he lost. And then a super Zionist went in. You guys remember that? And that was how that was bad. Notice that Jamal Bowman is here for one of the most left-wing candidates in the country. It's almost as if he's on our side. How likely are their chances? I'd say Claire is like a 60% chance and Dara Lisa is like a 45% chance. Maybe Claire's more like 75. Claire is like the more strong candidate and Dara Lisa is like the coin flip. She's like the stretch candidate. Like, she is younger and she has more like radical statements and she's fighting against like an incumbent. So that's hard. Whereas Claire is running in an open seat, but she's running against a fucking I'm Working Families Party, Elizabeth Warren is based type person. So, like, both of them have tough races. Because, again, they're not going to give us anything. The Elizabeth Warrenites, they're closer to the establishment than us. The establishment is closer to the Republicans than us. Think of American politics like DSA is the fulcrum point. That's why it's so important that you learn that DSA is good and you get involved and you become part of it and you help build it up. Because if you get involved at DSA, you will make a difference in this world. There's rarely been an opportunity to join an organization at the ground level that will have more impact on the future of humanity than DSA right now. I am not exaggerating. There will be thousands of people that hold elected office from the 100,000 people that are in DSA today. We're going to win. I honestly need to do more. I've been thinking about like how I need to go to every goddamn thing for DSA and build myself up. I feel like I haven't done enough. And like, so if you ever have any ambition for politics, you need to get involved and you need to start knocking doors and improving yourself and take leadership roles and take on responsibility. I canvassed and worked on the website for the first socialist to win a city council seat in Cleveland last year. DSL Cleveland didn't endorse, but most of the work came from DSA members. What you need to do is get that person endorsed and part of DSA after the fact. Even though they won, it's time to integrate them in DSA.
But Chevalier has come under fire for past comments that she's made calling to abolish.
So it's good to get people to join DSA, but it's also good that Democratic Socialist doesn't have an easy definition, square that circle. Because it does have a definition. We have a lot of projects that we're working on, but there doesn't need to be like an entire manual of how we're going to derive socialism at the end point, right? We should be noted by our activity, not by our plans, right? Like that is the version of socialism that I want, which is it's about taking power and bring it to the working class. That's the essence of democratic socialism. Reconfiguring society to put power in the hands of working people by taking it away from the billionaire class, the Epstein class, the bourgeoisie, the owners, the elites. And I'm willing to let 1,000 flowers bloom and then pluck the brightest. I'm not like the desire to have everything planned out. And, you know, that is hubris. I think, you know, ultimately, you know, when I was like, what does democratic socialist mean? It's a good thing that we don't have some sort of tome that with dust on it, that we're blowing dust off the cover and cracking it open and going, well, according to what Marx wrote in 1848, socialism is blah blah blah. Obviously, that should be a core of our you know, organizing and our analysis and our approach to the world. Like, obviously, we get them to join by winning. It's happening in front. I mean, it is just the desire for control is why people like keeping DSA small. That's why people like the gatekeep. The reason why people like the gatekeep, because they'd rather be a big fish in a small pond than a small fish in a big pond. And I get it. It's ego, but it's also bad for, you know, building a power. Like, the more popular DSA gets, do you think, I mean, obviously I expect I will become more popular, but maybe not. Maybe my fucking personality sucks too much. You know, like, that's something that I am happy to consider as a possibility, right? You know, it's like, maybe I need to improve myself if we're going to become more mainstream, right? Which is another truth nuke. Having some humility. Do you plan on taking leadership roles within the organization? Listen, if that's what people want me to do, I would not say no. That being said, I haven't earned it. If you guys won't show up for me, then why do I deserve leadership? You know what I mean? Like, I'd have to actually get chosen to be a leader, and I have to earn that.
The police criticizing the military, calling President Obama evil, calling President Biden a rapist and a war criminal. She used profane language when describing other top Democrats. She criticized interracial relationships, and she even took aim at Senator Bernie Sanders for, quote, liberal Zionism. But Chevalier has come under fire for past comments that she's made, calling to abolish the police, criticizing the military, calling President Obama evil, calling President Biden a rapist and a war criminal. She used profane language when describing other top Democrats. She criticized interracial relationships, and she even took aim at Senator Bernie Sanders for, quote, liberal Zionism.
He's my ideal candidate. She's my ideal candidate. I love Claire, but if I'm being honest, like, Claire is the best. Like, I love Claire. Like, Claire is the best. But Claire is more Vio's candidate. And Daria Lisa, that's me, baby. That's my type of candidate right there. The criticize interracial relationships is so nonsense. I'm sure it was some dumb, like, Tumblr-esque style post about, like, white dudes being cringe. You know, one of those things. Like, some 20-year-old posts on, like, TikTok of it. Who gives a shit? I don't even need to look into it. Like it's, come on. You know who criticizes interracial relationships? Jonathan Greenblatt of the ADL says that Jews should not date non-Jews. When's the last time you heard any of the Fox 5 talk about that? Again, it's a fucking joke. Like, get the fuck out of here with this nonsense. That's some woke one shit. Yeah, so what? She's like all of us. Now, I never really fell too hard into woke one. That's part of the reason why people hate me. Is because I was always like, well, you know, maybe we shouldn't, you know, completely abolish the police. You know, like, we kind of need a little bit of police, right? To at least arrest the war criminals, right? Like, we should abolish all prisons. We still need some for some Zionists, right? Like, I was never like fully woke one, right? Like, that's, people will call me a class reductionist because I'm not an anarchist, and I don't agree with, you know, I don't agree with like rhetoric where it's completely divorced from any implementation. I don't like that personally. You were old during woke one. I was not that old. Can we teach everyone to reply with, you're talking about how their old posts because you don't want to talk about their policy? Honestly, even that's too explaining. Remember, narcissists are Darvoing because they want you to jade, justify, apologize, defend, and explain. So whenever somebody's like trying to make you jade, Tell them to go fuck themselves. Justify, apologize, defend, and explain is too many acronyms. DARVO, deny, attack, reverse victim of offender. Those are easy to remember. Thank you so much for the raid time card. Welcome in. If somebody is attacking Daria, go on attack against them. If you watch me conversating with some of these scumbags, the first thing you do when somebody's like, I don't know about her tweets, search Gaza in their fucking tweets and go, oh, here we go. Another Zionist, bad faith, try to talk about someone's Twitter post because they're covering up a genocide. And every Zionist can't help but fall into that, well, it's not a genocide. And then bam, everybody knows what they are. And you're now talking about how they're a genocidal bad faith rat. Stop going like, well, it was woke one. And no. Don't play their game the way they want you to play it. I found the interracial tweet. It's such a lie. Okay. Black men, Arab men, fetishizing ugly colonizer women. Bro, how old was she when she posted this? 17? 16? Okay, she was probably like 22. Like, who cares? Who cares? I'm not going to comment about this because, again, I'm a white man. There's really no way for me to comment on this other than who gives a shit? Who cares? Woke one was crazy. Who cares? She's not saying black men don't date any white women. That's not what she said. That's it. That's it. I held the door open for this old white lady at Popeyes. Is that a BDS shirt? Yes. You know what they do to door closed before I could find out what they do. She's so fucking cool. She's so fucking cool. She converted to Islam 3 years ago at a March 6th speech at the Al-Kuhai Islamic Center in Queens, headed by radical Sheikh Fatah al-Salani, who has denied the Holocaust and praised Hamas's barbaric October 7th, 2023 attack. I have a feeling this is bullshit. I have a feeling that this is bullshit. Guys, this mosque is actually super Nazi. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and not believe Jesse, the external affairs guy of the Manhattan Institute. This is what you do. Gaza. Wearing a Yarmulke around Gaza City, on the other hand, would be ill-advised. Here he is at October 8th talking about rapes happening at the rave at the fuck, what is that called? This ended up not being true. And the person who argued for it was like an extremist who then was not able to like get anybody to corroborate, and this was all withdrawn. He's mad at Kamala Harris for not going to BB's speech. This is the guy who's calling her racist. The libelous charge that Israel is committing genocide. Yeah, guys, I don't think this guy, I have a feeling that this guy isn't I think he might be a Zionist liar. I think you might be a Zionist liar that no one should take seriously. This is how you reply to this type of shit. This is how you reply to this. Not the majority of people and the vast majority of Democrats think Israel is committing genocide. So if anybody's attacking our people, they're probably Zionist. And you could just simply point that out and everybody will disregard them because they're fucking biased and motivated by an attempts to cover up Israel's crimes. That's how you deal with it. And he'll either block me or he'll start talking about how Israel isn't doing a genocide. Like, that is how, and then bam, no third party's going to look at that and go, oh, you're right, these tweets are concerning. They're going to be like, oh my God, this guy's smearing her. Fight fire with fire, guys. Netanyahu is reportedly trying to influence the final Iran deal by using right-wing media figures like Mark Levin and friendly Republican senators to pressure Trump, according to CNN. Report also says Netanyahu has told Trump that Israel does not consider itself bound by the agreement, despite its requirement for an immediate and permanent end to the war in Lebanon. Okay, so we're coming to a head. Either Donald Trump is going to rein in Netanyahu or he's not. And either the Iranians are going to hold America to the deal or not. And Israel is putting it to the test, right? Netanyahu feels like he could do whatever the fuck he wants and he won't be reined in by Trump. Maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. Trump didn't know the historical context of signing a treaty at Versailles. The symbolism of Trump signing a surrender document at Versailles in which the U.S. agrees to pay massive reparations is just too perfect. Mr. President, Versailles is where the most consequential deal of the 20th century was signed. Yours deserves the same stage. Okay, guys, we got to do this. Trump signs Iran surrender. Oh my God, this is awesome.
Well, the White House has just confirmed that President Donald Trump has signed the Memorandum of Understanding to end the war with Iran. Iran's foreign ministry says the presidents from both countries have signed it electronically and it's now in effect. Going to bring in Mike Hanna. He's live at the White House for us. So what are you hearing about this signing, Mike?
Well, one report says that President Trump signed the agreement during dinner with President Macron in France a few hours ago. Then it has been signed as well by the Iranian president. We are still waiting full confirmation of this.
So I'm very curious. What's gonna. I'm most curious about Fox News. Are they gonna bury this? Are they going to attack Trump? Or are they going to cope for it? That's really good. That's to tell you where the elites are. Like, do the elites, do they agree with Trump that he has to surrender? Or is there like a lot of infighting? Like, what's the, oh my God. I think they're going after Trump. Iran deal is the disaster does not achieve its actual goals. Ben Shapiro. Memo of understanding will make frozen assets available for Iran. Okay, I got to see how they're reacting.
All right, so you are looking live at Geneva, Switzerland, where we are looking for Marine One to touch down there. It looks like the pool just arrived a short time ago. This after hearing from President Trump for over an hour just a short time ago, taking a lot of questions from reporters as we begin to get the details on the exact wording of the Memorandum of Understanding. Let's bring in Fox News contributor and host of Sunday Night in America, Trey Gowdy. Trey, great to get your thoughts in this moment. Please do share with us where you are with all of this as we get a better understanding at the terms of this.
Sandra, it's wonderful to see you. I was a little surprised, honestly. I mean, we literally had our foot on their throat.
So basically what's happening in America today, Chad, is the billionaire Zionists are fighting against paleo-conservatives. So that's what's happening. It is the globalist versus Buchananite Nazi. Oh my God, it's actual infighting. Oh my God, it's like actual ideological infighting. Kurt Mills, the executive director of American Conservative Mag, which is a paleo conservative. You guys know what I mean by that? Okay, so in American politics, there are different strains of conservative thought. I'm actually going to do something on the John Birch Society today, chat, on the Reaction podcast. We're going to record an episode about the John Birch Society, so we're going to talk about this more. But basically, so John Birch or paleo-conservative, what you really should think of them as crypto-fascist. Crypto-fascist ideological, you know, it's kind of like neo-Confederate crypto-fascist fusionism. So they believe in like white Christian identity, Anglo-Saxon domination, anti-immigrant, they're also skeptical of globalism, of like the finance industry, Jews in general, global capital. It's like, it is blood and soil nationalism. And it was led by the John Birch Society. That's really where the nexus of that form of it. And then after World War II, the Republican Party basically was convulsed by different strains of politics. And the National Review and William F. Buckley Jr., he led what was called the Fusionism movement, which is they expelled anti-Semites and they built national security conservatives, libertarians, and, like finance capital and the wealthy. And they fused them together into the Reagan conservative movement. All right. So you see those three. So they kind of lashed all these people together. And that's the NEOCON Reaganite conservative movement, right? Pat Buchanan, he represent what they called paleo-conservative. So paleo-conservatism ultimately resulted in the Trumpian fusionism. Trump managed to unite the remnants of the Reagan coalition that was falling apart after Obama. He relashed in paleo-conservatism into the coalition and kind of significantly advanced. That's the America First stuff. That is the person that I would say is most responsible for its revival online would be somebody like Nick Fuentes, right? So paleo-conservatism has like kind of reemerged. which they are skeptical of American empire. They're skeptical of foreign foreign entangling alliances. They're skeptical of Jews in general, and Israel in particular. And they're focused on like American identity, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant identity. They've made some peace with trad Caths because they have to form a popular front, right? There's not enough of them to win. So they have to get like trad Catholics and maybe Cubans and things like that. So what's happening right now is the Zionist globalists are fighting against these paleo conservatives who are now asserting control. And they're saying, look at the Iran war. It's a disaster. It's destroying Trump's presidency. He's super unpopular. It's hurting the economy. We're doing stuff for Israel. We're under Israel's heel. It's damaging conservative movement. It's helping socialism grow in America. We've got to get rid of these unpopular Zionists and Jews. That's what they're saying. And so we're seeing an existential clash because Donald Trump, he looked at the war and he said, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but Donald Trump said, I had to do this to avoid worldwide depression. Trump signs Iran peace plans claiming deal averts worldwide depression. They were running out of those reserves. And if the oil shortages bit, there would be an economic crash. So Donald Trump said, I'm not going to be in office when the stonks go down. I'm surrendering to Iran because who gives a shit? None of this actually matters. Iran is not actually an existential threat to America. There is no threat that we're going to get nuked. They're not any more oppressive than a million other countries we ally with. They showed how strong they are. I don't want to have the economy crash. Our imperialist project failed. Their regime was able to withstand our attack. And in order to get them to open the strait, I have to give them concessions and reparations. So he made that. He tried. He thought he was going to be able to pull off the same shit he did with Venezuela. It failed. The surrender is actually smart for America and Trump.
You signed the MOU? It's signed, yeah. It's signed? I signed it. It was signed. Why did you sign it?
Unbelievable. Iran won the war.
Bravo.
I mean, this is like battleships at Tokyo Harbor. This is like the rail car. The Social Democrats surrender the rail car at Versailles. This is like the Treaty of Hidalgo, Guadalupe? I can't remember. The one where Mexico gave up half their country to America. Guadalupe Hidalgo, right? That's the one. This is like a world historic level surrender. This is the geopolitical version of never quit, never apologize, never concede. They will never surrender against the U.S. and will prevail. I mean, of course, because the problem with like wars is there has to be an existential reason to keep fighting. And the nation of Persia, of Iran, is too strong for this kind of aggression to work. We couldn't beat Afghanistan. We got chased out of Iraq. You think we're going to beat Persia, which is like Afghanistan and Iraq merged and on steroids? Iran. They've been resisting American imperialism for decades. They've been planning against this eventuality for decades. And the world depends upon Gulf oil. They had a leverage point and they exploited it. This is like the Persian Thermopylae. An empire got chased into a geographic choke point and got fucking stopped because of the iron will. Like, that's the reality. That's why no other president was dumb enough to attack Iran. Because it was stupid. Because it wouldn't work. Because they learned they were fighting Iran and Iraq. They were fighting the Taliban and getting their asses beat. They realized there's no fucking way we could fight Iran. That's ridiculous. Like, it's honestly embarrassing that he even did this. But honestly, surrendering this deal, signing this surrender document is one of the wisest things he could have done for the position he was in. Honestly, I kind of understand Donald Trump. I'm not trying to give him too much respect, but I think I understand now why he's actually president. He's not a complete moron. Like surrendering in Afghanistan like he did to the Taliban and now surrendering to Iran. Like he takes high risk maneuvers, but he cuts his losses. This is the equivalent of declaring bankruptcy on a bad deal. Most people would have too much ego for that. I had a relative of mine who had a bad business and it was dragging down his finances and he was having to like subsidize it from his other work. And I was like, dude, just declare bankruptcy. This is not like, why are you pouring infinite money for your ego? Just declare bankruptcy, cut your losses, build up from zero. But his ego wouldn't let him do it. And so he spent 10 years digging himself out. And at the end, why? What was the point? Instead of 10 years of building, he was 10 years of filling in a hole. I'm reading All the Shah's Men. Oh yeah, that's one of the books I recommend. If you want to understand Iran, there's a book called All the Shah's Men, which talks about how America and the British were so evil to Iran. That's why they're our enemy. We deserve their hatred because we fucked them and we betrayed them and we stabbed them in the back. The reason why there's the Islamic Republic and not a secular, democratic, peaceful, and prosperous Iran is because we stabbed those people in the back. Best Iran deal that has ever been made. Nobel Peace Prize material for President Trump. Unironically, I don't think you can get a peace prize for, ending a war you started. But unironically, anything that constrains America is probably going to end up being positive for world peace. Because we have showed ourselves to be uncontrolled. Okay, well, how are the libs handling it? I want to see how the libs are handling it. Then we'll watch more infighting and Malding.
This memorandum of understanding, as David Rode is reporting, and we'll talk to him about it in a second, and everybody else is reporting, this is a dream. They can't believe they got.
Did you see that Meta is being sued by the adult entertainment company for copyright infringement? I'm glad they are. Unfortunately, that's not the... I mean, obviously, AI is just stolen copyright. Like obvious. There's no question.
What they got from Donald Trump. And just a couple of things from the Wall Street Journal editorial page. Iran will demand even more, the Wall Street Journal editorial page says this morning. And if Mr. Trump is as desperate to end the conflict as he has sounded lately, he's going to give it. He sounds desperate. He sounds like he's going to do anything to end this conflict.
By the way, this is a good thing. I need you guys to understand this. This is a good thing. Well, I mean, maybe. Like, if you want America to fall, then you don't want them to sign this deal. Like, if you're bad at Panada, this deal is terrible, right? Because if we kept going with the war, then it would cause a global economic depression. There would be famines. There would be oil shortages. Oil hits $100, $250 a barrel more. We're looking at massive global energy crunch. The U.S. economy bubble bursts. We're looking at 10, 58% unemployment, stock market. Everything looks terrible. If that's what you want, then this is bad. But if you're trying to keep America afloat, then this was necessary. And really, the only thing the United States really had to eat was a little bit of humiliation. We just have to have a little bit of humiliation. And the Democrats are going to make fun of Trump. And they should make fun of Trump. There's absolutely nothing wrong with making fun of Trump. However, the idea that signing this deal is bad is absolutely insane. But because they're not in power, they get to do that. The problem is, though, I don't want liberals to be like, we should be more warlike with Iran. That's insane.
The people of Israel feel betrayed this morning. Republicans are horrified. Some will say it out loud. Some will not. And you could just go down the list of all the things he said we were going to do at the beginning of this war, and it just hasn't been done. And this MOU takes us in the opposite direction, showering them with maybe $500 billion of money up front. If you add all the things up that the Wall Street Journal was talking about yesterday, and then beyond that, they get to rebuild their economy and act as if they're Luxembourg, as if they're not the epicenter of international terrorism, because Donald Trump says they can.
Yeah, that Wall Street Journal catalogs that op-ed catalogs president by president from Jimmy Carter forward all the attempts by both Democrats and Republicans over the years to find the moderates in Iran and finally say, we're going to be the administration that engages with Iran. They're going to act like a normal country, which is the term now that Vice President J.D. Vance is using. He says, if Iran acts like a normal country, this will be a good deal for everyone. Well, history tells us that the mullahs have no interest in Iran being a normal country. They have an agenda that they're pushing around the world. So, David Rode, I mean, you look at the particulars of all this. Sanctions lifted. Oil flowing out of Iran already. Some of those ships are already moving. They can get those tens of billions of dollars back. The $300 billion investment fund, We had the president of the United States, we'll dig into this a little bit later, saying, well, I've got to let them keep some missiles. It's not fair. Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states have missiles. We got to keep the playing field even, which whether you're a Republican or Democrat, made people's heads explode. But he called in the early days of this war for unconditional surrender of Iran. He called for regime change. He said they could not have a nuclear weapon. Is any of that achieved in this memorandum of understanding?
No, not in any way, shape, or form. It's essentially an agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz on Iran's terms. Iran will be able, there's some language in there that they basically can't charge this toll that they've talked about for so long.
They're calling it, they're not calling it a toll, they're calling it a fee. No, you're not paying taxes, you're paying a premium. Oh, okay, I guess I'm not paying taxes. I feel good now. How many people fall for this shit? But it works, though. That's the thing that's hilarious. This shit works. Like, oh, no, I don't pay any taxes for health insurance. I pay premiums, and I feel free. Now, I pay way more in premiums than I would in taxes. But thank God I'm not paying taxes, right? I'm only paying a premium. That shit actually works on people. It's insane.
Gives them immense power. Trump said if they don't, go along with the negotiations the way we want, we're going to start bombing them again. What will they do if we start bombing them? Close the Strait of Hormuz. And the bombing didn't work, and we'll talk about this more. I'll keep it short, but I would like to speak this morning at some point. President Trump is the person most responsible for this strategic defeat and failure, but I would argue the person second most responsible, who's in the most dangerous position politically, is Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. He repeatedly lied to the American public in his press conferences about the progress of the war, and he also refused to give basic information to members of Congress. There's a lot of ill will among senators and House members towards Pete Hegseth. And I have our notes. Jonathan and I covered this, the press conferences every day, and it's just astonishing. The U.S. was raining death, fire, and fury onto the Iranians. This is not endless. This is not mission creep, mocking former presidents and administrations. The aftermath of this is going to be in our interest, and most importantly, he said Iran is exercising sheer desperation in the Strait of Hormuz. Did he warn the president about the Strait of Hormuz before this war? Was he honest with the American public? And to the 50,000 Americans who risked their lives and the 13 soldiers who died, his performance is something that has to be looked at.
And interesting, Joe, we haven't seen the defense secretary in public much since those podium-banging news briefings that he would give every week where he'd lecture the media about how to cover the war, what was actually happening. And from all the reporting that he would show the President of the United States an iPad with things blowing up to show that they were doing well. It turns out this is a much, much more complicated problem than can be solved by blowing things up.
Well, showing him an iPad with things blowing up, putting out memes from Hollywood movies or cartoons, and that was supposed to substitute as a basic...
Won't it be great for the Iranian people that this happens? What, the victory in the war that they just won and getting $300 billion and getting $30 billion of their money back that was stolen and not being bombed anymore and having sanctions relief lifted and being allowed to develop nuclear energy? Will that be good for Iran? Yes, I think so. Yes, I think so.
Communications coming out of the Pentagon or out of the...
Mark Levin is blaming woke, right? Oh my God, I need this whole video. Give me the whole thing. I need the whole thing. Oh, inject this into my veins. Oh my God. Ah! When I was working on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, I would listen to terrestrial radio. It was 2000 and I want to say 4. I would listen to terrestrial radio, whether I was doing road construction and repair. And I would listen to Howard Stern music, which back then was like nu metal, which was fucking based. And then occasionally somebody on the crew would turn on some conservative radio and I would be mad. And when it was Mark Levin, oh my God. I want to say Mark Levin was like the end of the shift. What was Mark Levin? What is Mark Levin on radio? Like what time is the Mark Levin? Mark Levin radio times. I want to say it was late. Yeah, see? The end of shift. I was right. 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern. Ah! Now, I had the morning shift, so luckily I didn't get this unless I was doing overtime. I think my shift was, what? 6 to 2. 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. I had the morning shift. 6 a.m. So I had to commute. I'd wake up at like 4 or something. The 6 a.m. shift. Now, if you're why, Mike? Why was your shift so early? Because I was working on the fucking highway. So I had to be there before rush hour. I couldn't like be commuting during rush hour. So because you want to make sure you're there and having patterns installed and things before heavy traffic. Also, it gets really hot on the fucking asphalt. You want to be doing your work in the cool of the morning, not with high sun. So anyway, anytime I heard this fart breath, I mean, like, I've heard Sean Hannity on the radio. I had heard, what's the fucking dead pustule who was addicted to pills? Rush Limbaugh, thank you. Rush Limbaugh, Mark Levin, Sean Hannity. I'd heard them all. Mark Levin is the least talented man of all time. When we listen to his voice, remember, this guy's on the radio. Say what you will about all the other conservative guys. This is the worst radio voice I've ever heard. Prepare yourself. The fact that he's on the radio is a sign of some sort of conspiracy. There's no way in hell you would ever pick this man to explain your side of any issue, unless it's because he's a Zionist. Literally. I'm sorry, it's true.
I would just advise those who are in Washington and in a bubble, who go to mostly friendly media, that this is not set well with many patriotic Americans, many Republicans, and many conservatives, many people in MAGA, and diehard Trump supporters. It hasn't settled well. I have better access to the public view than most people do, and I can tell from the past several weeks, it's victory that you wanted. And when I've been briefed, I've been told basically that we can't achieve it for 4,000 different reasons.
Yes, that's right. There's a lot of reasons why we can't win, you dumbass piece of shit. That's exactly right. The terrain is too rough. The morale of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard is too strong. They're too disciplined. They have too strong of a drone program. The global economy would crash. The oil supply is needed and is being constrained. The population and size of the country is too large. We don't have the ready available infantry troops. We don't have the physical capacity to engage a long-term occupation. It would cost trillions of dollars. Like, all the reasons why we can't invade Iran, they're all true, you dumbass piece of shit.
Information is coming out, specific information from wholly credible witnesses who have no axe to grind, under oath, contradicting the former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, contradicting the ambassador to the United Nations, Susan Rice, contradicting the spokesperson for the President of the United States, and not one damn syllable about it.
That's literally what he sounds like.
We've had very difficult wars with very difficult enemies.
He sounds exactly as Master Shake.
What the hell's this? I told you. Fireman, astronaut, race car driver, maybe bikini judge. And this is what I get? Food service? Are you kidding me? This is third world, and I'm from the first. I'm number one, baby.
I'm amazed that they even have.
Oh my God, is that him? Unironically, is that him?
Different kinds of wars, and there have always been ways to win them to victory. So we can't have woke.
I am, one of the things about masculinity. I've been thinking about this lately because Chad, I was watching, like, scrolling on TikTok, and I got this video where it was street interviews, and they kept asking guys, be like, all right, I'm gonna show you a picture of a guy. Do you think he's gay or straight? Have you guys seen this before? And then they'll take a picture of the guy. So the guy will look at the picture and go, yeah, that guy's gay. And they'll be like, okay, cool. Mind if we take a picture? They'll take a picture of the guy. And then they show it to the next guy. Be like, is this guy gay or straight? And the next straight guy's like, he's gay. And then it's like 10 guys in a row. And every guy looks at other guys and calls them gay. And it's fucking hilarious. But it has caused me to, like, I almost want to write a piece on it. I feel like you could get a PhD on this because of how much it says about masculinity and men in general. And it's like, why does every single straight man look at a picture of another man and then call him gay? It's like there's so much going on in their brain to make them say that. Why am I bringing this up? Well, I'm bringing this up because Mark Levin, I gotta say, listening to him, it's causing some sort of like version of me that has been slumbering since 2001 when I poured a full carton of chocolate milk on somebody's lunch to come out. When I threw a apple directly at somebody's head as hard as I could throw it. This part of me, the 2001 Mike, is coming out. I cannot understand how this guy survives. I legitimately cannot understand how this guy's alive. Listen to the way he just talked about war. This Poindexterin, sniveling, nasally, master shake motherfucker. Listen to him talking about a war that would destroy the lives of 65 million people and God knows how many Americans. Listen to this.
Reasons. You know, we've had very difficult wars with very difficult enemies, different kinds of wars, and there have always been ways to win them to victory. So we can't have woke right types going on and on against forever wars, and yet so many of them are responsible for them. I don't want a forever war. Iran wants a forever war. I feel it's time to end this once and for all. Well, my view has not won out, has it? Transgendering has nothing to do with defending this nation, and a hell of a lot to do with undermining morale. No offense. And you know what? Everybody is not qualified for everything. The purpose of the United States military is to have strong men and, yes, strong women, depending on their roles, in the military to protect us. It's just that way. Sorry.
We've been together for almost a decade, married a couple of years. Everything's great. We love each other.
Beautiful.
We share the same values. We share the same political values, really left, progressive. However, my husband is very much identifies as blue collar. We're from the Boston area. I can't get him to stop using the F slur. I'm not against gay people at all. Usually against cops. Usually.
This is the type of guy this is why Philadelphia has socialists winning, right? Because this is the guy. This is the Northeast. Unironically, this is what white guys in the Northeast are like.
That cancels out.
now what are you going to do, Stabby? Hold on.
Yeah. This is a great philosophical quandary. Can you use a forbidden weapon against the worst enemy?
I'm ready to go. Permission granted.
I think it has to be like
he's from Boston.
He's from Boston.
It sounds like he was like a teen in the 90s. So it sounds like this guy.
Listen, I get it, and believe me, I grew up in Baltimore in the 90s.
He also works with a bunch of blue collar kind of
She lets it go right there.
She also works with a bunch of these.
My husband.
Oh man, like literally, this is like unironically, this is why we're winning. I know it's a little uncomfortable. We're straight guys. We're laughing about this, but it's not from a place of hate. It's a place of like being chill, turning the sword toward the right target, you know, still not approving of it, right? Not approving of it, but just being more fun to be around. And gently guiding people toward the right answer, right? It's not saying, you use the F slur, you're a homophobic piece of shit, we hate you, we're never gonna be blah, blah, blah. It's about going like, hey, yeah, you know, haha, laughing about it, being chill about it, but also at the same time, promoting good values. This is unironically woke 2.0. A lot of people that are woke 1, they hate this shit. Because they got their power from the inquisitorial stuff where it'd be like, you were a homophobe! You're a homophobe! Bow down! Humiliation ritual! You're a bad person! It's not good vibes, right? But it helps them get into a position of authority where they can interpersonal power for the woke scolder, but not like inculcating our values into the masses and fighting against oppression against queer people. Unironically, this is why we're winning. I'm glad to see that this is the way things are going now. I'm relieved. Because, like, I'm not anti-woke 1. Like, I think that was a necessary stage. I think we needed a moment where people would rise up and be like, no, this shit's not okay. I think that was good to be angry and fight back. I don't think that was wrong, right? And you don't see me using F slurs and R slurs and shit because it's against my values. I don't agree with that. But I also believe that we need to have a strategy of spreading our ideas and get hegemonic our ideas And being fun and being chill is a lot more effective than being a scold and a hall monitor and an inquisitor looking for reasons to call you a racist, sexist, homophobe, whatever the fuck. And I think it's not just appealing to white people, by the way. I think this is true of everybody. Everybody kind of doesn't fuck with this. Oh my God, the conservatives are so mad about the surrender. They're so mad about the surrender. By the way, Stavros, I mean, is he not the best? Is he not the fucking best? Do we not just love him? Instead of slurs, my friend started calling people June bugs. Oh no. It's like trying to do an intervention on someone. Tell the person first that they're going to be interviewed on. They just aren't going to go because they don't want that shit. I mean, yeah. He's so good, man. He's such a good influence on our side. Mike, just don't get banned. I never got banned because of him. I never got banned for Stavros. Nobody cared about me quoting Stavros. That was just people trying to like find some reason to call me bad to distract for the fact that they were defending what's that sex pest name? Fuck, I forgot already. Lolo overruled. Yeah. Like a lot of the people that were defending Lolo overruled, once Hassan came out against them, they needed to like distract attention off themselves. So they like try to pretend that I was a mega racist. They were doing this smart move, which is don't defend and explain and apologize for your take on Lalo. Put Mike on the defensive. That's what that was. So nobody actually cared. And then they dug up that old clip from like 2 years ago out of context. You know, it was all part of their strategy of like, again, deplatforming me and distracting from the bad shit they were doing. I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't make what I did good. I still needed to apologize and like clear it up and make sure people that were hurt were, you know what I mean? Like I value my community. I don't value them, right? I value how you guys feel. I don't value how they feel. Because they're bad faith. You should go to Stavros' show in LA. Oh, good idea. I don't think Vio's ever been to a comedy show. That would be a good thing to do. They were also the people who were defending Bo of the Fifth Column on their Twitter. They were still retweeting them. No fucking shot. I mean, of course, fucking holy shit. That makes so much sense. Lalo had defenders. That's crazy. Yeah. What's his name? The creepy little Louisiana shrimp. What's his fucking name? Gremlo. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Gremlo was really going hard for Lalo. All right, let's keep going.
Trump is now saying Bibi is indiscriminately murdering Lebanese, but the Iranians are nice and they only want to help their country.
The people who just tried to shoot down and kill 2 of our pilots last week.
Yeah, and of course, who tried to assassinate him?
Yeah.
Tried to assassinate John Bolton? What's going on? So I'm telling you what's going on. What's going on is something happened and he decided that he went the wrong way and he is ratcheting himself in the other direction. And it's almost as though when he was...
What happened is the oil and gas executives came to him and said, hey, listen, the strategic oil reserve is draining. China only has so much ability to cover for the Asian markets and it's coming to an end. And soon prices are going to skyrocket. It's gonna have to give somewhere. You're gonna crash the economy probably in Asia, and you're gonna have to surrender to Russia and Europe. The Europeans are gonna fucking lose their shit because they are not gonna be able to survive. Our oil prices are gonna skyrocket. Everybody's gonna be trying to buy oil from us. We don't have the capacity. Americans are they heavily rely on cheap oil. We'll be in trouble. We'll be making money hand over fist, yes. But the global economy will fucking crash and your popularity will go in the toilet. We don't have any more runway. You tried to do the regime. It was a good try. The logic made sense, but they were more resilient than we thought. You've got to end this war now. That's what happened. It's a material reality. I mean, it's not that complicated. Donald Trump was feeling himself. He was feeling confident because of the success of Venezuelan operation. So he believed his own hype and he went after Iran. Like, that's the situation. That's the reality.
Out restraint in the rhetoric that he was using, the militaristic rhetoric he was using, I only want unconditional surrender. I'm going to bomb your civilization. Da 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 da. Once he turns tail, suddenly Iran's nice, Qatar is brave. Another thing that he said today, and you will always be my friend, and you were so brave and so wonderful in these talks. And Israel is the bad guy. So, which is where he's going. Like this is the opening this weekend. He went from Bibi is, what the F are you doing? And you're without judgment. And now it's you're blowing up apartment buildings in Beirut. And the Iranians are really nice.
Chat. K-Ose just posted something. Inside me, there are two wolves. I quote tweeted it. AOC Stavros 2028. Now this is a presidential ticket. This is a presidential ticket. He'll be vice president. She's fucking 20. She's 38 years old. She's not gonna, it'll be fine. He just needs to sit there with the pulse, crack jokes, set up the official White House Naval Observatory comedy podcast, and they'll win for 1,000 years. Nick Mullen can be Secretary of War and make Adam Friedman Treasury Secretary. Bingo, bango, boom. Best White House in history. Was it anti-Semitic to make Adam Friedman Treasury Secretary? Yes? What? God damn it. I don't think so. How many Jews have been Treasury Secretary? I don't think it's anti-Semitic. What the fuck? No, it's not. It wasn't until you asked. God damn it. I think he would be a good Treasury Secretary. He knows money is fake. And he's moderate. He's center left. So that we wouldn't have a bond crisis. You can't ever make jokes in this town. All right, let's go back to making fun of them surrendering.
White House about how this war.
Adam as EPA administrator because he's a bug? We'd sympathize with the bugs. We'd have bugs everywhere. We'd have a fucking malaria outbreak. What the hell are you saying?
Ended up being a lie. I mean, we have looked back at the lies told by the Pentagon during the Vietnam War with William Westmoreland, and of course that came over years. But the damage that over the past several months that has put us where we are this morning, where Iran is going to be a behemoth in the region. With this money, with this MOU, if we do follow through on this MOU, Iran will be more powerful than they've ever been. The Iranians know it and are jubilant about this victory that they've achieved, and they're calling it what it is for them, a victory. The Saudis yesterday, who were compared to Iran, I'm sure they love that, where Donald Trump says, well, of course Iran needs to have ballistic missiles. I mean, if Saudi Arabia has ballistic missiles, how the hell can I tell Iran they can't have ballistic missiles? Really? Well, because just about a month or two ago, it was Pete Hegseth telling us that all the ballistic missiles had been destroyed. They're giving some, we've killed 70% are gone, 80% gone, 90%. We have reduced it to crush. And Donald Trump telling reporters and anybody else who would listen that they don't love America, that they're rooting against the troops. If we admit that the Iranians still have ballistic missile capability, now he's admitting it. They're all admitting it. And Jonathan Lemire, Donald Trump has a much bigger problem than with lefties.
I don't think I can.
The progressive
Chad, I don't think I can play
House
this Nick Mullen joke. I don't think I can play that Nick Mullen joke and ever have another politician on the show. Unfortunately, I don't think I can play that joke and have another politician. Mario Kart Hamas joke. I'll only play it if Hassan plays it first. Trump is being outflanked from his right by MSNBC. Well, that's what the Democrats do. They're like, we should be at war. No, Daria Lisa can't make it, chat, unfortunately. We tentatively had it for today, but it was only if it was a flex spot, which is unfortunate. It's whatever. We're gonna have Milat. That's how you say her name, right? Fuck, I keep mispronouncing it. Melat, yes. We're gonna have her on. I'm in final talks with them. We're doing it. We're doing it. I don't know what tentative means. It means it's the plan, but it's not set in stone. So it happens. The way you chillin' looks like you want to get milked or what? Huh?
Yeah, man. Like you can't say that took it before they flew Mario Karts into the music festival.
No! Oh my god! Oh my god! Bro, that is insane.
Oh my God. Okay. Look at his face. How did these guys ever get a paycheck? By saying that. You didn't know about that bit? No, I did not. That is anyway, beyond the plane of existence where you do Metal Gear Marathon instead of saying I want to do this. That's fair. But yeah, that was really cool.
Nick Mullen needs to run for president in the Republican primary. Are you trying to have AOC be defeated? Are you trying to have a 50-state landslide for the right?
What's also really cool is that the podcast for every depressed man who desperately relied on their best friends is back for one episode. This time on
that seems like a little bit of a self-report. Am I crazy?
Stavi's World, the Nick Mullen and Adam Friedland episode. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the real reunification. People talk about like Chinese.
Is this the joke
we were next to him for?
You were back. No. Apparently they were saying like despicable slurs about Aboriginals.
Oh, interesting.
And I just couldn't hear what they were saying.
I don't even mean to.
I was trying to say that I didn't actually know I was standing up to racism. I was thinking I was
the humble hero.
I hate myself.
No, where's the joke? I don't want to watch the whole thing. Here is the joke. Oh, thank God.
Is it Blue Chew you're with, or do you have?
Who are we with?
No, I wanted to watch Hassan watching it. This is also. Oh, all right. The point was to have Hassan on the stream, so that I would have plausible deniability that it wasn't my fault. Hey, really? Oh, here we go.
Yeah, man. Like,
wait, it's only at the beginning. Okay, there it is.
That Hamas took it before they flew.
Well, let's talk to they wanted us to talk to someone that was like the ad buyer. He's like, I want to talk to the company.
That's good.
Who you're with, or do you have?
Who are we with most recently?
They got mad at us because I said that the Hamas guys were using it on October.
No, it was no. This was amazing. They're like, Blue Chew wants you to pull an ad, and Nick's like, they have been advertising with us for 8 years. Yeah. I have a great relationship, and they were like, well, let's talk to they wanted us to talk to someone that was like the ad buyer. He's like, I want to talk to the company. We talked to their head of like
advertising or
of promotion or something, and they were like,
yeah, man, like, you can't say that Hamas took it before they flew Mario Karts into the music festival.
No! Oh my God.
I'm shaking my head on this joke.
Oh my God. Bro, that is insane. Oh my God. Okay. Look at his face. How did these guys ever get a paycheck? By saying that. You didn't know about that bit? No, I did not. That is it's kind of funny because like I'm pretty sure they've made pedophilia jokes in a Blue Chew ad before. So that's wild that it's like that's wild.
And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, inside me there are two wolves. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Che Jose. He's just at the New York Knicks victory celebrations, handing out slices. See what I mean? He's a man of the people. All right, back to us all losing the war in Iran.
He's got problems with his own Republicans. He's got problems with conservatives. He's got, for good reason, problems with the Wall Street Journal editorial page. And he's got problems inside his own administration from people who rightly see this as a betrayal. And those who see this as a betrayal have actually read history. And they understand what the Wall Street Journal is trying to say. And I'm going to say, I don't know who taught J.D. Vance at some of the nation's best institutions, right? But they need to get their diplomas back, because we learned from Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan that he was pushing for the Insurrection Act before a lawyer inside the White House had to tell the Yale Law School graduate, no, we can't do that. And he's like, oh, okay. And now he's going around talking about Iran like it's a normal country. Well, as if they're Luxembourg. And as the Wall Street Journal editorial pages said again, as Willie said, they take us through every president since 1979 that has tried to find the moderates. We've always joked throughout the war about trying to find the moderates in Iran and how there are not those moderates in Iran who get to power, or else they get killed. And so J.D. Vance keeps talking about the moderates in Iran, and the Wall Street Journal rightly says every president that has given Iran a good deal, thinking that they were going to get the moderates to move forward in Iran, what's happened? Well, what's happened is Iran has used the money to invest in terrorism, to invest in spreading global terrorism across the region and across the world. And it's happened for 47 years. And now that they see a weak president who is scared to continue this fight, in their eyes, they understand they can get whatever they want.
The latest example of this administration not knowing its history, even a small one. President Trump signed the memorandum of understanding last night at Versailles. I don't know. Treaties signed at Versailles have not tended to work out well, over the last 100 years or so. And you're right. There's no one who actually likes this deal. Even President Trump's efforts to spin it seem for him fairly half-hearted. I should note he flew back from France last night. He's still up posting on Truth Social trying to defend it. The Iran hawks deeply disappointed. We have seen an open rebellion on the right administration going after like Ted Cruz and others. Lindsey Graham, of course, found a way to get there to support Trump, though he's putting a skeptical eye on Vice President Vance, because Vance has become the face of these negotiations in recent days. I mean, you just tick through it. None of the war goals were accomplished. Iran comes out of this stronger than before. The hardliners are empowered. They have more control of the Strait of Hormuz. They're about to get a windfall in order to rebuild their country. And there's certainly no sense that they will stop supporting their proxies in the region who terrorize others. Israel has been checked, it appears, in its ability to respond, which is another real part of this, Joe. And this is, President Trump, shows desperation. That he is now the latest president that Iran has humbled, but he understands that this war was careening off the tracks, the American economy about to go with it, and he decided to take whatever deal he could, even a bad one, to bring it to a close.
It's not a bad deal. It's a good deal. If you really look what we gave Iran, it's not, we're not like giving them money out of our own pocket, right? Like, let's take a look at what the New York Times, they annotated the deal. Let's take a look at the actual deal and read it and talk about it. Okay. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran have jointly agreed in good faith on such and such a date on the following. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran and their allies in the current war, by signing this memorandum of understanding, declare the immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon, and undertake from now on not to initiate any war or any military operation against each other, and to refrain from the threat or use of force against each other, and ensuring the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Lebanon. The final deal will confirm the permanent termination of the war on all fronts, including in Lebanon, and other provisions in this paragraph. Netanyahu will reportedly blackmail Trump to block any Iran deal. A former intelligence officer, Ari Ben-Beneshi, says Netanyahu holds unreleased Epstein material on Trump and other U.S. officials. He speculates these files could be used to stop the Iran MOU deal. This is America's greatest ally. What is this shit? Who the fuck is this guy? What the fuck is this, man? What are you giving me? What the fuck are you linking me? I want to talk to you guys about literacy of news content. If somebody is averring that they have some secret information just off the screen that's going to cause X, Y, and Z radical thing, they need to show, not tell. Okay? That's just the way you need to look at things. Like if somebody's like, I have secret information that's going to... They have to show, not tell. Show me the blackmail. That's actually a really good life lesson. If anybody is describing a thing rather than showing the thing and relying on you believing the thing exists, they're trying to manipulate you, right? And when they don't, and when somebody's calling for speculation or calling for inference, they'll tell you because X, Y, and Z, that means conclusion. And then you can examine those. But if they're like, trust me, bro, there's super secret Epstein file info that's going to come out that's going to stop Israel from blah, 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 blah. Then show it to me, bitch. Show me the fucking thing. They're describing a thing without actually showing you it and and forcing you to try to rely on that description. They want your imagination to go wild. That's a manipulation. Just like when Obama said hope and change, that was a manipulation. Why was that a manipulation? Because he wanted you to imagine the change you wanted and associate that with him. Hope is a feeling. Change is a process. So what he was trying to do is to get in your emotions, not in your right reason. And it works. The next time you hear somebody say shit like that, be like, okay, what does that mean? Change? What's gonna change? What are you gonna do exactly? Don't allow manipulations unless it comes from me. You could trust me. My manipulations are in your best interest. We already know Trump's a pedo from the current evidence. I mean, yes, but that doesn't imply the existence of blackmail that Israel can use to stop the MOU, which is what that person was trying to do. They're trying to get you to rely on facts, not on evidence. And I'm telling you, don't let people do that to you. Is this fake? President Trump says the U.S. will no more protect Israel. It will protect itself. Okay, well, grammar error. Doesn't sound like somebody who's speaking in their own language. Now, see, like, again, for me, this is automatic. I think for some of you, the reason why you watch me is because I have a pretty good track record of this. I've thought things were fake that were real before. I don't want to sniff my own farts. I get it. It happens to all of us. But you need to have a high, like the more extreme a claim, the more extreme the evidence required. God, I love Zoran so fucking much, dude. Somebody, one of Badapadada's like orbiters tried to say that I was wrong for saying that Zoran, like the Knicks win is like going to be a turning point. I was obviously exaggerating for effect, but unironically, the good vibes are making people like socialism more. Notice that the vibe exterminators, the Badapadada crew, they don't value vibes. Wow, I'm so surprised. The antisocial freaks don't value vibes. Wow. The vibe terrorists, the front office, they don't value vibes, guys.
Of Leon Rose, the coaching staff of Mike Brown, and a group of young men who played for each other.
You know what I would like to see? Expropriation of the major professional sports teams. I think they should be owned by the cities and the players. I don't think we should have owners.
Sacrificed for each other and showed the grit and toughness of a champion. I know many of you Knicks fans have waited a long time for a team and a season like this. And many of you wondered if you'd ever live to see the day when it would happen. But your dreams last Saturday became a reality. And this team just completed one of the most historic runs in NBA playoff history. 16-3, a 13-game winning streak, 9 consecutive wins on the road, 2 of the greatest comebacks in the history of the NBA. And you Knicks fans played an enormous part of it. Your dedication, your passion, and your loyalty through everything inspired this team to help them bring the first title in 53 years. So congratulations to you, the great Knicks fan base. And if you could take a look now at the screens on the side to watch this special video.
It's the NBA playoffs, the goal, the Larry O'Brien Trophy.
And when you got the best fans, I know all the fans at MSG at the watch party outside.
Finds some space and throws it down.
The Knicks will advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. They've won 7 consecutive playoff games. A sweep. Hooks it up, pops it in.
The Knicks fans, they travel, man. They're going to be hurt in whatever building they're in.
The dream season continues. The New York Knicks are going to the...
Do you think there's an air of privilege from NYC here? Like if the Pittsburgh Pirates won the World Series, I don't see everyone wanting to party of them. The reason why I am promoted, I would actually, because Pittsburgh has a lot of lefties. The thing is, Zoran is a cultural phenomenon. And New York City is currently being processed by the world as a democratic socialist experiment. So all the positive vibes that surround New York City, Zoran is siphoning some of those vibes over for socialism. Unironically, it's good for us. Now, all of us who are serious ideological people, we understand that the Knicks winning the fucking sports ball is not socialism. But for regular people, we are establishing feelings of identity and identity attachment and sympathy for our people, which will then result in sympathy for our ideas. One of the biggest ways that socialism has been attacked is the fear of dangerous radical incompetence and destruction of the things that people value. The way the Red Scare was perpetuated was the idea that it's going to destroy family, it's going to destroy community, it's going to destroy the economy, it's going to destroy your deeply held religious and moral values. That's how people attack socialism. They don't talk about economic redistribution or public services or anything like that. They try to attack people on collateral issues to make socialism into a dangerous and risky ideology. That's why sewer socialism is important, because it is making people realize, wait a minute, these people are good people. They actually do make things better. The vibes are actually good. The community is coming together. We can care for each other. We can see a better part of each other. That's why I'm promoting this vibe shift as a good thing and an intelligent strategy. Now, there are people who are, I don't know how else to put this, but narcissists. And narcissists they want control. And one of the things a lot of these narcissists want to control is socialism. To them, socialism is something they own. And we're making it tawdry. We're making it unironically low class by doing things like this. By embracing the masses where they are, by involving ourselves with their passions, we're taking it away from the the high level mental space, the philosophizing, the academia, the books, and the dusty libraries that they want to inhabit. Which, again, I'm okay with that. I like that shit too. But it's socialism, heavy on the socializing.
The NBA Finals.
Shorty, what you want? I got what you need right here. Like, this is what I said after Game 4. If the Knicks win, I think socialism might win. And I want you to follow my logic. Zoran Mamdani, everybody said that he was going to be a super anti-Semitic racist who was going to make Jews unsafe. The city budget was going to fall apart, and everyone was going to flee New York, and the vibes were going to be terrible. Like, that was literally the argument, right? That was the argument. And a lot of people bought it, all right? A lot of people bought it. Now, those of us who are intelligent didn't, but a lot of people bought that. And then Zoran comes in. He's accomplishing all of his fucking big promises. He is navigating all the tripwires that a left-winger usually falls into, you know, caving to some outrageous demand from some sort of staff union, or, you know, getting a fucking blue flu that stops, like, you know, causes, disorder in some area, or, you know, being incompetent and not knowing how to run anything. Like, the stuff that can happen to left-wing politicians who get into power. He has managed to just step around the tripwires and successfully manage, which is a huge issue for an under-seasoned, non-executive experienced politician. He's been outstanding as an executive. And then now the Knicks are on the verge of winning, and he's been there every step of the fucking way. This is why you need to understand why the cult of personality around left-wing leaders happens. Because when a left-wing leader actually wins and starts keeping the promises, they become adored. And we cannot stop that from happening. Like, because people are actually start going, oh my God, this person's actually a good person. And everybody starts, like, loving that guy. So you can't stop it from happening, because good things are happening to people and they blame your guy for it, or they attribute it to your guy. It makes your entire movement more popular. It's unavoidable. Sorry. And, like, I'm not saying, like, oh my God, abandon socialism. What I'm talking about is making people open to you as a person, right? And, like, this is not just a theory. And again, if you're against this, you're just against humanity. You're just against humanity. I have a chart that I show you guys. Zoran's vibes have changed the trajectory of DSA. Without Zoran, DSA was kind of dying out. This is the reality. DSA, after the failure of Bernie Sanders' campaign, and the irrelevance of our ideas, because there was a Democratic centrist control of the party and we didn't have competition for real power. People were falling out of the movement. We had negative growth. And then Zoran Mamdani launched his campaign. This is national DSA membership. And by the way, it's now up here. It's now about here. It's off the chart. The membership has continued climbing. Do you see? This is the moment he launched his campaign. Do you see the moment Zoran launched his campaign? That's why I'm saying this, because, and you know, when people like, for example, Cinemarxism spent their time in my chat trashing the guy right before the primary, and I said, you got to get your shit together, man. You got to show solidarity today, man. We are contending for power. It's going to be good for the left if he wins. I was completely and utterly vindicated.
Within reach. And came up clutch here today from project.
Avery Wilson, everyone. And right now, we can once again give a warm welcome to our Mayor of New York City, Mayor Mamdani.
Thanks, Flea Noodle. That's awesome, man.
My fellow New Yorkers, for 53 long years, we have watched and we have waited. We have watched from nosebleeds and through gritted teeth on televisions in the windows of electronic stores and from projectors balanced on fire escapes. We have watched alone in our apartments with our heads in our hands, shoulder to shoulder at bars where the signal flickers, alongside friends and family who we wish more than anything could be here today, sharing this moment. For 53 long years, we have watched the Knicks and we have waited. We waited as the memory of Willis Reed winning the championship on one leg grew fainter and fainter. We waited as Clyde came up clutch again and again, as John Starks dunked on Jordan and Patrick Ewing dunked on the Pacers, as Bernard King scored 60, as Charles Oakley pulled every rebound within reach, as Spike got in Reggie Miller's face, as Allen Houston put up a shot against Miami that hung in the air for an eternity, as Larry Johnson gave us the 4-point play heard around New York, as Starbury traded threes with Kobe and then sold sneakers every kid could afford, as Nate Robinson stuffed Yao Ming, as the city came alive watching Linsanity, and as Melo lived every Brooklyn dreams when he came home and made MSG feel like the center of the universe once again. We waited without ever knowing if this day would come, and we waited because we knew deep down in our sick, suffering hearts that it would. New York City, this team has done it. The New York Knicks are NBA champions. We are here not just because of this team that will go down in New York City legend. I'm talking about guys like Ronaldo Balkman, Marty Collins, Raymond Felton, Marcus Camby, Kristaps Porzingis, J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert, and the whole Knicks tape era. I'm talking about guys like Tony Douglas, who I watched tie the single-game franchise record for threes from the stands in 2011. I'm talking about Amari, who got this whole city fired up when he joined. And I'm talking about Jared Jeffries and Lance Thomas and Langston Galloway. Players who gave everything every game, even when a 20-win season was all that was in sight. This championship belongs to them too, because championships aren't just built in one season. It belongs to Emmanuel Quickley, R.J. Barrett, Dante DiVincenzo, Julius Randle, and also to a coach who helped lay the groundwork, Tom Thibodeau. Thanks to each of these New Yorkers and too many others to name, New York City has just had two of the most magical months in as long as any of us can remember. Over these past weeks, as the Knicks kept winning, our city has come together as one. Neighbors invited neighbors over. Strangers high-fived one another in the street. Subway conductors sang their announcements and bus drivers danced behind the wheel. So often when this city comes together, it is because we are forced to, by a moment of tragedy or adversity. What a gift it is to be brought together by pure, unfiltered joy. For as long as we live, we will remember this feeling of a city together, a city alive, a city overcome by happiness. But let's not pretend that this was inevitable. If you will allow me, I want to travel back in time 8 days. Game 4, 9 minutes and 33 seconds left in the fourth quarter. The Knicks are down 20. The analytics guys, the sports betting companies, the pundits who watch from far away, they do what they do. They run the numbers. They calculate the odds. They write the Knicks off. They give the Spurs a 99.6% chance of winning the game. A 99.6% chance of tying up the series 2-2, of reclaiming the momentum with the next game in San Antonio. A 99.6% chance of silencing the Garden, of another year of watching and waiting. But there is one thing that the pundits just don't get about this team, that they just don't get about this city. It is in that 0.4% that we go to work. It is in that 0.4% that Jalen Brunson, the same guy that so many said was too small, proves that not only is he good enough, he is the new standard for greatness. It is in that 0.4% that OG Anunoby watches the ball float from the top of the arc and start running toward the basket, fingers reaching towards the heavens. It is in that 0.4% that Karl Anthony Towns finds the strength to mourn his mother and still pull in rebound after rebound, make block after block. It is in that 0.4% that Jose Alvarado shows every kid growing up in public housing that a son of Brooklyn and Queens can win for every one of the 5 boroughs. It is in that 0.4% that Mitch breaks his finger before game 1 and says, go get the tape. It's in that 0.4% that Josh Hart gets rebounds that break teams, that McCall Bridges proves he was worth every single draft pick, that Landry Shamet pulls up from downtown, that every one of these 18 players transforms the franchise, that Mike Brown keeps this team believing. Most of all, it's in that 0.4% that the Knicks do what New Yorkers have always done when we are told something is impossible. We find a way. We win. Standing here before what feels like the entire city, there is a Jalen Brunson quote I can't stop thinking about. I'm going to tell you. You are allowed to think about the worst possible scenario, but you got to go out there and do something about it. When Jalen Brunson took that pay cut, my friends, that was doing something about it.
Holy shit, that's so good.
Time after time, we thought about the worst possible scenario. And time after time, the Knicks went out there and did something about it. The Knicks did not just win for New York City. They won like New York City. What is New York if not your back up against the wall? A dream that feels just out of reach, a rent payment you don't know how you'll ever make. What is New York if not 99.6% of the world stacked against you? And who are New Yorkers if not people who hear those odds and smile? Who look at a 0.4% chance of success and ask, why are you giving me a head start? This is our city. This is our team. For 53 years we watched. For 53 years we waited. Now we've won. One last time, New York, say it with me. Knicks in. Knicks in. Knicks in. So much.
Thank you, Mayor. Now let's bring up the New York Public Advocate, Jumaane Williams.
Holy shit, chat. What a day. What a day, dude. And it reminds me of something, you know? Obviously, we're not going to watch the entire Knicks celebration. Maybe we'll come back because Jumaane Williams, that shout, that primal yell kind of deserved it. Kind of deserves it. But I wanted to show you something that's the holiest of Toledos. The holiest of Toledos.
New tonight, a Democratic socialist on the verge of leading another one of America's big cities, this time his own backyard. Janice Lewis George, currently with a significant lead to become the next mayor of Washington, which would put her on a potential collision course with the president, of course. It was less than a year ago that another Democratic socialist, Zohran Mamdani, became mayor of New York City. And Harry Enten is out front to tell us something we don't know. Okay, Harry. Now,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
know that there are some as to what a Democratic really is.
Yes.
But I guess just on the base of it, who is more popular, Democrats or Democratic Socialists?
Well, among Democrats themselves, the Democratic Socialists of America have a higher net favor rating than the Democratic Party does, at least those who are members of Congress. I mean, just take a look here. Dem Socialists of America, plus 17 points. Democrats in Congress, plus 4 points. No wonder that Dem Socialists are getting nominated across the political map.
So that's why when a lot of people said, we can't do it because we've been defeated in the past, that was wrong. Conditions have changed. Regulars, people, Deborahs, Karens, Kevins, Dianes, they're turning against the establishment Democrats because they surrendered to Trump. They went on, Gavin Newsom capitulated to Charlie Kirk and Josh Shapiro. Excuse me, not Josh Shapiro, Ben Shapiro. Same politics. They saw the Democratic Party show their belly, and there was a couple of people that didn't. Bernie Sanders, AOC, Zohran Mamdani. The day after Trump won, what did Zohran Mamdani do? He went out and he said, and he talked to the people that voted for Trump, and he asked them why, and they told him affordability. And so he said, we're going to build an affordability agenda that brings working class people back into our big tent. And it was going after landlords. It was about providing people with the services they demand. It was about building a movement that would stand for the Palestinian people and against genocide, who had a clear and unobstructed view of right and wrong, but a clear and unabashed and firm political promises, fast and free buses, freezing the rent, and free childcare. And we have an opportunity to do the same for the entire nation. That's why I was saying, you heard me, Malding, a year ago. Did I not say we should be running for more things? That DSA LA is missing the boat? That we should be running for Congress and state representative, and we need to have more races, and we're winning. We're winning everywhere. We should be running more. We run in DC. We barely did anything. I don't even know if I mentioned the DC mayor's race myself, and we won another one. We should be aiming for the skies. Why? Because regular normie Democrats love Zohran Mamdani. They love Bernie Sanders. They love AOC. The Democratic Party is there for our taking because the Democratic Party doesn't even mean anything. That's the dirty little secret. You don't have to pay any. We could just steal their ballot line. We could take it from them. We can ride in like Genghis fucking Khan and steal the Democratic Party banner. And then we force liberals out of the general election. We force a clear decision between socialism and barbarism. Liberals are out of the conversation. And right now, Democrats are saying, yes, please. Democrats are saying Democratic Socialists of America plus 17 net favorability over their own members in Congress. That is the reality.
In different primaries, because simply put, they are more popular than the Democrats currently in charge.
Okay, I'm just thinking back to when I was sitting here and Zohran Mamdani was sitting there when he was running, and I asked him about capitalism.
Yes.
And he had no problem saying that he had real issues. Okay, he wasn't afraid to say
Malice Groy, thank you for the 25 gifted subs. And that's right, because he was bold. He wasn't scared. Stop apologizing and be like, the system's fucked up. Elon Musk has $1 trillion. Can we stop pretending like it's gonna trickle down? Imagine if you were, we'll die of thirst before we get the first piss drop. Vexandro, they're not trickling it down. The cup just keeps larger and larger and larger.
By the way, he ended up winning. It didn't. How do
Vexandro, thanks for the
Democrats
5 tier ones.
view socialism compared to capitalism?
There's a reason why it didn't hurt him, and that is simply because this is one of the biggest political changes I've seen during my lifetime. Match up socialism, capitalism among Democrats. You go back 16 years, 2010, capitalism and socialism right there, favorable rating, 51%, 50%. Look at it now. Socialism clearly in the lead among Democrats. 66% of them view socialism favorably, just 42% view capitalism favorably. No wonder Mamdani had no problem blasting it.
Which is fascinating because when you look at races coming up, and you've got a big one up in the Bronx, and you've got Zohran Mamdani endorsing a Democratic Socialist. Hakeem Jeffries not going with the more traditional incumbent. So there are two big races involving New York that Mamdani's endorsed. Tell us something we don't know.
I'll tell you something you don't know, and that is that the Democratic Socialists are likely to win one of those races, the one down in Brooklyn, going to beat the Brooklyn borough president. You take a look there, look at that, an 81% chance to win in Brooklyn. And in northern Manhattan, at this point, a 50%.
It's so funny because earlier I said 75 in a coin flip, right? Didn't I say that earlier? Damn, I didn't even look at these Kalshi things. But here's the thing. Claire is my girl. Okay, or Claire is my queen. Like, I bow down to Claire. I'm not trying to say, like, she is the one that I have been behind since day fucking one. We raised her $50,000. Like, we have put our money where our mouth is with Claire. She's the fucking best. I think her team is the best as well. And she's fighting off a progressive, not just another Democrat, a fucking progressive. She represents DSA and DSA alone. She represents the politics I want. I mean, I'm probably a little bit to her left, but it doesn't even matter. Who cares? Who literally cares? Claire was here. Who is Claire? Right there, Claire Valdez. She was on my stream.
2% to knock off an incumbent, Espaillat. Unbelievable.
Yes, Espaillat, long-time incumbent with all of the incumbents endorsing him. All right, thank you, Harry.
Thank you.
Like, honestly, Claire, like, my heart is in my chat. We gotta have Claire, man. We gotta have Claire. That would be such a feather in our cap. That would be such a feather in our cap. Unironically, Claire is the most aligned person that I've ever seen. I mean, obviously Oliver as well, but like, Claire is like the most aligned politician that we've ever had. So I have to know what 1776 Libertarian put. America is already a socialist country. The question is, how much more do people want, and how quickly America devolves into Marxism. Canvassing for Dara Lisa, I've literally never heard anyone say anything positive about Espaillat, and tons of people excited about Dari. Maybe I'm too close and I have to have a fair read of the situation, but I think Dari will win too. I mean, you're probably doing GeoTV, right? Which means the universe of people that you're talking to are almost certainly people that the campaign thinks are extremely likely to vote for her, but might not vote. That's probably who you're talking about right now. You're probably talking to people that they want to make sure turn out. So you're not in what we call in like field operations. We have what's called the persuasion universe, and we have the volunteer universe, and we have the what we call the drop-offs. I showed this before. Is this it? Yeah. Okay. So you see, there's voting propensity. That means the odds that you're gonna vote, right? Like, if you're very likely to vote and you're very likely to be left wing, you're what we call the base voters. Those are the people that self-motivate. We don't have to do anything. Nobody has to call me to make me go vote for the socialists. That's going to happen no matter what, right? Like, you don't need to bother with me. Okay? Then we have what are called drop-off voters, right? These are voters that agree with us, but they're lazy, or they don't know there's an election, and we just need to touch them and be like, hey, by the way, there's a Democrat socialist running, and we need you to go turn out, right? That's who you're talking to right now. That's a lot of the chatters. You guys might agree with everything, but are you actually making sure you vote for every single election and you're, self-motivated? No, a lot of you are not. So those are the people we're trying to talk up. And then you have persuades, right? These are people that might agree with us, but they need to talk to us more. We have to make a relationship. We have to convince them that it's possible. We have to maybe talk to them and see how they're feeling, make a connection personally, bring them into our movement through a conversation, right? And that's why we, knock on doors and have phone calls for the persuasion universe. These are people that might vote for us, or they might vote for our enemy. So these are people that we need to talk to early. And then there are people who are the enemy. We want these people to not show up. We want them to feel really bad about voting for the other side. We're never going to change their minds. They're just the enemy. Fuck these people. And then, of course, there is the enemy's drop-off voters, people that don't agree with us. They're never going to change their mind, but they're lazy and stupid. This is where Donald Trump has done a really good job getting these people to vote. That's why Donald Trump was able to win, because he got a lot of these kind of lazy racists to get really excited about him. and he fed them red meat until they showed up. So these people we need to keep sleeping. Keep these people sleeping. Will Mallory drop out, do you think? So if so, who is she to endorse? She's going to endorse Stevens. I would put money on it. She's a covert Zionist, so... And she's probably she's a bitter covert Zionist, not a progressive. She will almost certainly endorse Stevens.
A Democratic socialist on the verge of leading...
That's just reality, folks, unfortunately. All right. I wanted to, are you guys, oh my God, did you guys see this? One more thing before we go. This is Zohran Mamdani's victory speech. Okay. Democratic.
I am a democratic socialist. And most damning of all, I refuse to apologize for any of this. And yet, if tonight teaches us anything, it is that convention has held us back.
Thank you, Chatter.
We have bowed at the altar of caution and we have paid a mighty price. Too many working people cannot recognize themselves in our party. And too many among us have turned to the right for answers to why they've been left behind. We will leave mediocrity in our past. No longer will we have to open a history book for proof that Democrats can dare to be great. Our greatness will be anything but abstract. It will be felt by every rent-stabilized tenant who wakes up on the first of every month, knowing the amount they're going to pay hasn't soared since the month before. It will be felt by each grandparent who can afford to stay in the home they have worked for and whose grandchildren live nearby because the cost of childcare didn't send them to Long Island. It will be felt by the single mother who is safe on her commute and whose bus runs fast enough that she doesn't have to rush school drop-off to make it to work on time. And it will be felt when New Yorkers open their newspapers in the morning and read headlines of success, not scandal. Most of all, it will be felt by each New Yorker when the city they love finally loves them back. Together, New York, we're going to freeze the... Together, New York, we're going to make buses fast and... Together, New York, we're going to deliver universal... Let the words we've spoken together, the dreams we've dreamt together, become the agenda we deliver together. New York, this power, it's yours. This city belongs to you. Thank you.
How has it gone so far? How's it gone so far? You tell me.
Hopeful Brad Lander this past weekend, who also will be there at the Sanders rally. But you guys were at a Jewish-Muslim solidarity rally. And I bring that up because I contrast that a little bit with your decision not to be at the Israel Day Parade, which you've been very public about why you did not want to be there. My question is, what do you see as the difference in those solidarity appearances? And do you think it sends the wrong message to Jewish members of the city who did go to that Israel Day Parade?
You know, I've said time and again that I believe as the mayor of our city, that the ability for a parade to take place, for it to be safe and secure, should not be contingent on whether or not the mayor is present. There are a number of New Yorkers who attended that parade. My job was to prepare for that parade, to work with our police department to ensure that it could be a safe experience. And also that solidarity with a government that is committing genocide is a very different thing than a question of solidarity with people of a specific faith. I'm proud to be a mayor of a city with the largest Jewish population in this country, and I'm prouder still of the kind of solidarity we've seen across the city. And to your point about former controller and hopefully soon to be Congressman Brad Lander, he is such an incredible example of what that solidarity can look like and how we want this to be a city where we don't just ask ourselves, can we keep Jewish New Yorkers safe? No, we want the threshold to be higher than safety. We want to ask ourselves, how can we celebrate and cherish Jewish New Yorkers?
Every single day, he makes our politics, he gives us more space for our politics. Every single day. Zohran Mamdani's approval rating, the latest polls. After more than 100 days in charge, most residents think the city is improving. The reality is, it's growing faster and faster and faster and faster. That's the reality. And one of the things that's really exciting about all of this stuff is Eric Adams and all these other guys, like, they were shown as like the next stage of the Democratic Party. Meanwhile, Zohran Mamdani has continually faced nonstop attacks from the Democratic Party, and it has made no impact whatsoever. Here's him at Rikers at their graduation ceremony.
And Mamdani commended him as well.
Elijah has become an inspiration for his fellow classmates, pushing both himself and his peers to strive for more.
That made me feel so happy. Like, you know, I didn't honestly think he would be here, but it helped, you know. Someone cares about the incarcerated individuals in this jail.
Smith and Mamdani commended him as well.
Elijah has become an
So apparently there was a graduation ceremony for incarcerated people who earned their high school diplomas. Rapists and murderers get a diploma? Bring back the death penalty. In other words, Mamdani was saying, please don't go out of prison and go back to robbing, stealing, fighting, and raping New Yorkers. Okay, rapists are not at Rikers, dumbass. But yes, that's exactly the point. Yes, that's the point of rehabilitation. The point is, this person did something asocial. They did something antisocial. They did something harmful to the community. And now they're getting educated. Now they're getting treated. Now they're getting given skills. So when they leave jail, they have another choice besides hurting people. They can actually become part of the community, become a productive member of. That's the whole point. Why do you guys have so much empathy for bad people but don't care about good people? I will never understand. We have empathy for all people and helping bad people or people who have done bad, because there are very few people that are bad in their core. All right. Most people that are doing harm were hurt themselves. They have trauma. They didn't get enough love during, very important parts of their development as a child. They have despair. They see no path forward. Maybe there's some sort of chemical imbalance in their brain that can be treated. Like, most bad people are bad people because of conditions of material reality around them that we can change. And intervening and helping recover as many people as we can, and understanding that redemption, which is the essence of what Christianity was supposed to be about. I'm sure all these guys would tell you they're Christians, by the way. In college, I had the opportunity to tutor incarcerated inmates in the Berkshires, and the guys who were in this program were kind and interested. We get into these long-winded discussions about political freedoms in society. You were talking about me, bro. I did 7 years for robbery. I was hard up at 08 and PTSD from service. Yeah, of course. But of course. Inmates are just prisoners. We always believe in redemption. We always believe people can become a better version of themselves. We're all prisoners of our mistakes. Some of us have made bigger mistakes than others. Some of our mistakes didn't get punished. That was dumb luck. So we show compassion. Now, some people are not going to, it's not going to work out for everybody. That's okay to acknowledge as well. And we don't understand everything about human beings yet. Some people, maybe we won't be able to fix, but the vast majority of them we will. The vast majority of people, if we treat them with kindness and empathy and we help them build a better life, they will grow and change. There's going to be some percentage of people that we don't get it right. Learning to accept that as well is also maturity. Also, chat, sometimes you go to jail on bullshit charges. Oh, yeah, of course. Mike, you're right about Mamdani making us look good. Of course. Kat and Mayor Mamdani lean back together on the Knicks float. Chat, like, you know, if you're not a sports ball enjoyer, I disagree with you, because what makes it fun is the community aspect of it. You know, what makes this shit good is the fact that we can like let our guard down and we could all just celebrate shit together, because so much of life is like being closed off. That's why this stuff is good. We could just love our community unabashedly. It creates that community feeling, which is important for a functioning society and community. I think some lefties underestimate how important civic virtue is, community feeling is, because so much of that turns into xenophobia or you know, a vicious kind of like patriotism that rejects the other. That's not what this is about. Those feelings can be used for good or for ill. We need to use them for good instead of ignoring their reality. That's something that China does, by the way. They talk about the pomegranate, which is, I think there's 41 ethnicities and cultures that are recognized in China. So it isn't about it. They describe China, the Communist Party describes China as a pomegranate, which means that there's all these beautiful seeds within one unified whole. Is it 56? 56. Thank you. Not 41. 56. Thank you for correcting. That's how we do. That's how we do that. China is Han supremacist. Bro, if it wasn't for the socialists, if the nationalists had won, yes. And there is certainly there's a strain of fucking weirdo supremacists, of course. Of course there is. There's always 20 to 30% of humanity that are got their brain zapped and are dedicated to fear. The national question is a tough one. Amazing. By the way, chat, did you guys see this? Did you guys see this? Wow Mao made a post that apparently Ethan Klein is threatening to sue him.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So Wow Mao was a fellow edgelord of mine back in middle school, and you could not catch that kid going more than 2 class periods without throwing up Vape Nation gang signs, sneaking in a Papa Bless pose during class photos. Also, while waiting for the next prank invasion, it's time to stop video to drop from Ethan.
Yo, I'ma keep it real with you guys. I lost the Wow Mao mask, bro. I can't fucking find it, bro. Seriously, it's fucking gone. I don't know what to do. I got this Frankenstein mask I got for Halloween. Okay, guys, I just looked through my emails, right, bro? And I saw something that's a little bit interesting. Maybe you guys should know about this. Ethan Klein is going around suing people who has wronged him. And it's usually big names like Ian, Hassan, I don't know, some other streamer. I don't know anything about this shit. I don't know what Ethan is talking. I don't know the drama. So imagine my shock when I see I'm actually one of these creators being threatened with a lawsuit from Ethan Klein. What did I do to this guy? What did I do to this guy? I don't want to say anything that gets me in more trouble, dog. I'm not good with the law. I'm not very smart. I don't know if sharing a cease and desist letter is a good idea. Anyway, guys, look at this fucking cease and desist letter, bro. Hello, we are acting on behalf of Ethan Klein, who operates professionally as H3H3. It has come to our attention that you have published false and defamatory statements concerning our client, including but not limited 2. A video published on YouTube in which you implied that our client supports the genocide of Palestine. This allegation is false. A statement posted on X, formerly Twitter, falsely asserting that our client uses cocaine. This is categorically false and defamatory. These statements are defamatory per se, as they cause serious harm to our client's reputation. Accordingly, we demand that you immediately cease and desist from making or publishing any further false defamation.
All right, we got to start suing Ethan Klein, dude. We got to start suing Ethan Klein. Bro, you have said a quadrillion things about a million people. This guy is such a fucking bitch-made loser. Holy fuck, that's hilarious.
Defamatory statements about our client. Dog. Provide written confirmation within 7 days that you have complied with these demands. Ow! Fuck, dude. Fuck! I'm gonna get sued by fucking Ethan Klein, bro! Please be advised that if you fail to comply, our client reserves the right to commence legal proceedings without further notice, seeking damages, legal costs, and injunctive relief. That's 3 things he could sue me for, bro. What the fuck? Damages? Me? How are you gonna sue me, bro? I got nothing. I'm broke as hell. What the fuck you gonna get out of me? You gonna sue me into oblivion? I am working a minimum wage job at a fast food restaurant, bro. The fuck you gonna get out of me? You want 5 quid, bro? Please don't take my 5 quid, bro. I'm broke as fuck, Ethan. I once got caught on TFL rail, right? I was using a rail card that wasn't completely accurate. When they caught me, I just told them to kill me, bro. I can't pay a full fucking ticket, dog.
Just do it. Just fucking kill me, dude. I can't pay the fine, bro. Just kill me, bro.
Our client uses coke. Listen, you can get around this by simply correctly and truly asserting that the client uses meth.
I'm not gonna do that, bro.
You can say he uses meth instead of coke. You can say he uses heroin instead of coke. You can say whatever. You just don't have to say coke anymore. Because, well, you can't say or you can't imply that he supports the genocide of Palestine. You can say he's a Zionist and that he probably doesn't mind the death of innocent. Probably say something like that because they've already said this allegation is false and seriously damaging. But I don't know. I think you can say other shit.
Oh, sweet. Thanks, Dad.
First of all, when you say somebody supports the genocide, that's not an averment of like fact. That's an opinion about their political position. That is completely protected under the First Amendment. That's not a statement of fact. And he has continually showed support for the state of Israel, so it's completely reasonable to say that's showing support of genocide. Sort of like a person who is showing support for Germany during the Holocaust, you could say, wow, you're supporting the Holocaust because you're supporting Germany during the Holocaust. Similarly, saying how great Israel is and how multicultural it is during the genocide of Gaza, you could say is supporting Israel, therefore supporting the genocide. It's like, can you imagine if Jeffrey Dahmer was like, he's on trial for eating people, and you're like, you know, I really like that Jeffrey Dahmer guy. He's really a handsome fella. I'm gonna give that guy a lot of money for his commissary fund in prison. People would reasonably say, hey, why are you supporting mass murder? Whoa, 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 I don't support mass murder. I just support Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, what the fuck are you saying? No one is going to say that was defamatory to call you out. Get the hell out of here.
You can get away with that. You can also reply to this email right now.
I would file so many fucking motions and counterclaims against Ethan Klein. Holy shit. I would camp out in the UCLA Law Library. I would make personal friends. I would bring so many delicious Winchell donuts to the librarians. Every day, I would send them fucking 50 roses a day. Holy shit. I would donate $10,000 to the ACLU just to get them interested. I would, god damn it, I'd run up oh my god, I'd be filing motion after, oh my Jesus Christ. Intentional infliction of emotional distress, defamation, copyright, harassment. Oh shit. Oh my god, it would be a fucking dream. Jesus Christ.
Actually, I think I will reply to it right now.
What? Oh my god. What are you doing? You need to act scared if you want him to. I mean, I feel disturbed. and my emotionally distressed.
I think
Shut up. Please, no, bro. Okay, I guess I gotta do it. So they're either telling me to take down the claims or
I think the email chat, I don't know if this one's real.
Retract. I'm gonna choose retract since you've given me the option. Ethan, you do not do cocaine. I'm sorry, bro. You don't do coke. I take it back. I don't even know why I said it. It was 2 years ago. And also, you do not support the genocide in Palestine. I'm glad we cleared that up, Ethan. Ethan, you are one of my childhood heroes, bro. I fucking loved you as a kid. I spent all my time in fucking recess watching your videos. I love the music you put out, the little acoustic guitar songs that you made for Hila. I'd listen to that shit as a little kid. And I'm talking like 14, 15. My mind was developing, man, and you were a big part of it. Now you sent me a fucking cease and desist letter. You taught me I could have fun on the internet, dude. I thought you were so funny, man. Now I got a cease and desist letter from you. Shit. It is crazy how life... Hey, bro, let's not get too deep, bro. I retract my statements. Ethan, don't sue me for the love of God, bro. I'm broke as fuck, dude. Yo, you guys play the Wordle today, bro? Yo, let's get it. Let's get it. This is my method. I've coined this method myself. So it started with SOAR, which is like pretty basic. But then you follow it up with unlit, which is like the other common words. And as you can see, it's actually not that good. What I then like to follow it up with is him. I got no idea what that means. Damn, my method sucks, bro. What the hell? What could this word be, bro? Meeg? Beam?
You should definitely not be guessing letters that you already guessed because they're in their right position. Why the fuck are you putting an E in a different position, sir?
What? Beam?
I'm too autistic for this.
Leave. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, dude. Beep. Beep. Beef.
Humongous what? Oh, God. Ethan Klein, dude. I would threaten to sue you, too. Get a lawyer from Squidward Community College. True. Remember, his lawyer literally disproved their own argument and their legal filing according to the judge. Correct. One of my favorite things about Ethan Klein is, like, not only did he lose, he lost in, like, the worst way possible. Like, he didn't even make it to trial. Like, the judge looked at his argument and said, yeah, this argument sucks so bad you lose even on your own. Like, just going off of you, what you said, you fucking lose. He's like, I'm citing your own case against you. Remember the one that made you famous? You dumb fuck. The only reason anybody even knows who you are? Jesus Christ. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Ta-Nehisi Coates went on Chris Hayes. And ladies and gentlemen, like, I think we're winning. Like they're saying Democrats have, quote, no choice on Gaza. Being published on the main channel of MS Now. It's just fucking over. Think about how things were 2 years ago or 3 years ago. It's fucking over.
This is a best-selling author and recipient of the National Book Award. His collection of essays, We Were 8 Years in Power, An American Tragedy, is a fantastic, complex reflection on the Obama presidency with a callback to Reconstruction, which is where that quote comes from. And in Vanity Fair this week, he looks ahead to the next black president, which wrestles with the Harris campaign and what might come next. And he joins me now. It's great to have you back. You know, first, I just want to get your feeling on, I feel so complex and almost a little overwhelmed going back into Obama world and Obama as the president, because it feels like it was beamed from another dimension. Everything seems so far away right now. And I'm just curious how what comes up for you as you watch this play out, as we prepare to have this big sort of reemergence of the Obamas as public figures, this presidential.
God, I really didn't want to say this. What comes up is the conversation I had with him when I was working on the piece that's in that book called My President Was Black. And he said Trump couldn't win. And I think what I am always reminded of is he had qualities that made him the first Black president. I don't know that somebody who thought that Trump could win,
Right.
who thought that actually, these things, about the country weren't actually dead, that they were alive. I don't know if that would have been the first Black president. But I also think that there was a very, very tragic inability to see certain aspects of this country that are very clearly still with us.
I think part of the reason why, listen, I'm not going to talk about, Barack Obama's blackness, because that's not really my role as a white man. But one of the things that, Adolph Reed Jr. Said about Barack Obama is that he was designed in kind of like a corporate lab. He kind of represented the early platonic ideal of a corporation's PR department. And fundamentally, that was a bankrupt ideology. America is not pretty much perfected. It's profoundly flawed and exploitative. And that's the reality. And so, like, when Barack Obama came into power in a moment of crisis for neoliberalism, all he did was double down. And that's what led to Trump. And it's not like, it's not like a surprising take. He literally handed the keys to the White House to Donald Trump. Barack Obama was followed by Donald Trump. There is no way around this reality. Barack Obama led to Donald Trump.
One of the things that you wrestle with, and My President Was Black.
You know what I'm worried about? Trump runs again for president, challenging the Constitution, and then Obama runs against him and kills AOC's run. The liberals are salivating at this hypothesis. There is no way that Barack Obama would do that. Like, I need you to understand, there's no way that Barack Obama would do that.
That essay that's in there that then now carries through to the essay that you have in Vanity Fair is a kind of the complexity and inherent tension of a Black man or woman coming through this country's history and coming from the long tradition of persecution and oppression that has meant, and the liberation movements that have brought us to this point, being essentially the commander of the American empire, the person that orders the drones and orders the army and orders the bombs and acts in a way across the world in ways that are oddly reminiscent in some ways of domestic oppression. And you think that's basically unresolved, but has to be forthrightly addressed, I think, is what I get from your latest essay. How do you think about what has to happen in this next presidential campaign with respect to how America acts in the
Chris, I thank you for asking me a question, because the fact of the matter was, when I was finishing up the last essay in that book, I had no real understanding. Obviously, I understood the vocabulary, of empire, and the vocabulary of saying America's an empire, but I had no real, and I hadn't seen it. I hadn't traveled much out of the country. And so what I have now is, a basic understanding. I mean, a stat that I think about all the time, it's in this book, How to Hide an Empire, is that the United States of America has 800 overseas bases on foreign land, and all the countries in the world together have like 30. Like, the next closest is Russia with like 7. You know what I mean? And the fact of the matter is, and I go through the history of this in the piece, is everybody knows what happened with the indigenous Americans of this country, but what is less known is that we spent the 20th century and most of the Cold War undermining democracies, overthrowing governments, plotting against people, and a disproportionate amount of that violence, although not exclusively, was done in the Arab and Muslim world. And so when we have a conversation about Gaza, I think one of the things that we do not understand, or when we have a conversation about Iran, one of the things we do not understand is that these people remember things that we have had the imperial privilege of forgetting. Mm-hmm. And that includes white and Black, by the way. We are Americans, and, no matter what oppression we've suffered here, we don't get an exemption from that.
I was thinking about, the essay talks a lot about the Harris campaign, and particularly how the Harris campaign was attempting to navigate the issue of Gaza, the severe and acute sense of desperate moral outrage that so many people in the Democratic coalition felt about what they were seeing being done to Gaza in the wake of the October 7th Hamas attacks, and kind of tried to just not do it at all. And then I was comparing that to Barack Obama's victory in 2008, where, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, I think Barack Obama being against the Iraq war was the reason he won that primary, which is
exactly what's going to happen with AOC. This is, this is something that I've been saying for years, that we in this community have been saying for years, which is the next presidential primary will be an anti-Israel primary, and AOC will be the most well-positioned anti-Israel candidate, and is going to, and if AOC is the nominee, we should want her to be running through DSA, and DSA will grow by 5 times if we do this the right way. That is the path that I'm talking about for our long-term political growth of the left in America. So everybody who's out there trying to nitpick AOC, even though she's like the 4th or 5th best member of Congress on Palestine and fighting against Israel, you're missing the moment. We have an opportunity to actually not only change the conversation, but to have power in all the complexity and all the disappointments and all the compromises and all the dirty reality of holding executive power. That's gonna suck for some of us. In some ways, she's gonna piss us the fuck off. But I am suspicious of any leftist who doesn't want us to win. That in their heart of hearts is scared of winning. And and this is even more damning, wants to distance themselves from the win before it even happens.
To say, you couldn't avoid it. You couldn't run the primary in 2008 successfully in the Democratic coalition and not have the right view on that conflict. And it seems to me you're saying there's some similar reckoning coming in this primary process as we head towards 2020.
Yeah, and it's here. And look, I want to be fair here. You know, you get X number of days, a brief campaign. You are a black woman, and I am not blind to the sheer amount of weight, you know, that was being put on Kamala Harris's shoulders. And you know, look, I had my moments where I felt like, man, you dump all of this in our lap. Like now where it felt unfair, but then you go to the convention and you see that the patron saint is Fannie Lou Hamer. And Fannie Lou Hamer is obviously famous for, you know, attempting to integrate the Mississippi delegation, but she's less famous for the fact that as early as 1965, she was speaking out against the Vietnam War, and people were not happy about that. That Coretta Scott King, who, you know, is a hero to so many Democrats, was speaking out before her husband and had the foresight to understand and to ask of Lyndon Johnson, I do not understand how you can be so sympathetic to young black kids in Alabama and drop bombs on kids in Vietnam. And I think we kind of forgot that, to say nothing of 2008. I think to some extent, some of us who are in the political world have forgotten the very real history of the heroes that we claim.
Do you think there's a space for sort of reimagining what this all looks like after Trump? I mean, even after this sort of debacle of this war, and it's now maybe cessation or not, that like it does maybe create some intellectual, political, rhetorical space for something new, for just a new way of talking about the U.S. and the world?
Look, I mean, I think there's a moral imperative too. I don't know how you remain consistent by claiming an anti-apartheid legacy here in the United States of America while enforcing it abroad. But I actually think practically you really, really have no choice. Whatever, you know, we think about this, you know, in terms of pragmatics. Look, the party's moving somewhere else on this, you know. And I don't think, for instance, I don't think Zohran Mamdani would be mayor of New York City without the protests at Columbia. There is very real political energy, you know, around this that, as far as I'm concerned, has the right and correct moral view. So I think even from a practical perspective, there's no choice.
Ta-Nehisi Coates, the piece is called The Next Black President in Vanity Fair. I would advise you to check it out. It's really good. Great to see you, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you so much.
Hell yeah, brother. Vice President J.D. Vance to Israeli cabinet members.
What I will say, and this does bother me, is that you've seen people within Bibi's cabinet who have come out and attacked the deal, and in some ways very attack the United States. And I guess my message to them would, number one, Donald J. Trump is the only head of state entire world who is sympathetic to the nation of Israel at this, and he happens to be the head of state. If I was in the cabinet of the Israeli government, I might not be attacking the only powerful ally that I have anywhere left in our world. And the second message is some of those cabinet, Bibi, to his credit, has not gone down this path. To some of these cabinet members in Israel who are attacking the President of the United States, the other thing that I would say is that over the last 3 months, 2/3 of the defensive weapons protected your homeland have been built by American hands and paid for by American tax dollars. The problem for Israel is not Donald J. Trump. And anybody in Israel who thinks their biggest problem is the president of the United States needs to wake up and smell the reality of that country. Thank you all.
By the way, that's the reality. Israel cannot exist without the U.S. I just made this my ringtone. It could all lead to nothing or worse, a joint U.S.-Israel resumption of the war, but there hasn't been a week where American leaders have spoken sternly, clearly, truthfully, and decisively about Israel since, well, perhaps ever. No, I mean, you know, Reagan picked up the phone. Like, it's happened before, you know, and usually Israel's leaders back down. But what makes Benjamin Netanyahu is a psychotic freak. Trying to find that stupid Obama. Does anybody give a shit about this? Does anybody give a shit about the Barack Obama presidential library being opened? Like, what the fuck is this shit? To me, it looks like the fucking garrison from Andor. You know what I'm talking about? On the garrison, the Imperial garrison on Gorman. That's what it looks like.
The details that I've seen so far look awful. This will go down as a tremendous foreign policy blunder.
It's a nice treat for the libs. They need to feel like they've accomplished something. I gotta be honest. Like, I have to be honest with you. I think Barack Obama is probably the most disappointing figure in American history. Like, when you talk about who people thought he would be and who he actually is, the gap, there may not be a bigger gap. And it's frustrating to me because he had that opportunity to truly have been a transformational figure. And instead, he went to Wall Street and he said, I'm standing between you and the pitchforks. And 9 million American families lost their homes. We had the slowest recovery from a recession for all time because Jeffrey Epstein's closest friend, Larry Summers, was Barack Obama's main economic advisor. The fact that Obamas have stayed clear of the Epstein shit when like all their biggest advisors are firm Epstein supporters and friends, it's a little bit uncanny how well they've managed to skate. They were super close to Harvey Weinstein, super close. I mean, it's just like interesting how he's Teflon. Like, not closing Guantanamo Bay is crazy work, dude. Like, one of his core campaign promises was closing Guantanamo Bay. I mean, Barack Obama is why a lot of people think politicians don't keep their promises, when in reality, political science shows that politicians keep their promises greater than 75% of the time. So if a politician actually makes an articulated promise, like, I will do X, they're very likely to do it. Like, this is something that a lot of people reject and they get mad when you tell them that. Especially if they're like anti-electoral in general. I don't know why, because it's like a fact. Because if a politician is like, I will do X, then they believe that doing so will give them more power or will secure them the support of a very strong group. Like, it's, of course, like, you know, the politicians don't give you anything when they don't promise you anything. Mike, I heard closing Guantanamo Bay was more impossible living on the sun. Yeah, it's embarrassing. There was a PBS documentary that said Summers wanted scalps and Geithner wanted capitulation, so he listened to the latter. I mean, it is funny that Larry Summers would be more left-wing than Barack Obama. I mean, that is funny. That is funny. Like, I believe you. Like, I absolutely believe you. Mike, he didn't have the votes. Does anybody believe that fresh off a landslide, that Barack Obama could not have picked up the phone and said, I am God to Democrats? If you don't vote with me, I will personally make sure your career ends. Do they really think that wouldn't have worked? Does anybody believe that that would not have worked in 2009? I just think that the reason why, like, you know, I'm not going to do any more Epstein discussions about Obama because I don't think there's anything firm there. And I don't want to be a scumbag that just says everybody's in it with Epstein. But he was very close with a lot of the Epstein people, you know, Dershowitz, and I think Dershowitz broke with him over the Iran deal, right? Dershowitz, Larry Summers, like all those people were very Obama. They were Obama guys.
Iran ends up stronger. Our allies in the region are weaker. And Iran has learned that if they're willing to grab that Strait of Hormuz and choke it off, they can get the Western world to dance to their tune. I think it's a deep mistake.
I mean, you know, these are Republicans. President Trump is getting some major pushback and sharp criticism for the Iran deal, as he calls it, from fellow Republicans and conservatives like Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana. He posted on social media stating, quote, Reagan is rolling over in his grave. Iran's nuclear ambitions were not curbed, and they have learned that threatening the Strait of Hormuz works and will undoubtedly leverage it in the future. Now Iran gets to build brand new infrastructure under this deal. He continues, before the war, the strait was open. Iran was being crushed by sanctions, and 13 service members were still alive. Now, 13 Americans are dead. Families have paid billions at the pump. Sanctions will be lifted, and the bombing has stopped. This is the worst foreign policy blunder in decades.
This post would have been a good post if he deleted the Iran was being crushed by sanctions. And also, Reagan is rolling over in his grave. What the fuck? Also, wait a minute. Never mind. He's just a warmonger. I was trying to help him out, but I was like, wait a minute. No. Also, Iran gets to build new infrastructure. What's wrong with that? You're fucking weird, bro. You're fucking weird, bro. Democrats jerking their dicks about Reagan. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a Republican this time. Sorry. This guy's, he lost, right? Bill Cassidy lost, right? Right? He lost the primary. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Libs love Republicans that everybody hates. MSNBC loves to take these Nazi fucks that everyone hates and then put them on MSNBC in front of your grandma. It's fucking insane. I cannot handle this shit any fucking more, dude. Oh my God, chat, I forgot to shill. Fuck! Chat, I forgot to shill! I didn't shill today. We gotta shill today. I forgot to shill. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting it by subscribing at tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 sub. If you have Amazon Prime, you can attach that to your Twitch account. You get 1 free sub a month. That's your Twitch Prime sub. Please subscribe today. Bro, you always forget? Yeah. Stop acting like you don't forget every day. I try to chill at 3 hours into the stream. So if I look up and I see I haven't chilled and it's later than 3 hours, I forgot to chill. You should set an alarm. No, fuck that. I just want to... Hormuzzi, thank you for the 5 gifties. And thank you for defeating Zionism. Can everybody bend the knee to Hormuzzi because it fucking beat Netanyahu's ass?
Senator Ted Cruz of Texas blasted...
Soros bucks haven't cleared yet. He would never fund me. Soros would fund someone like David Pakman. That's who Soros would fund.
The plan to send billions to Iran, telling the Daily Wire, quote, what has been released so far suggests that unfortunately the president is getting, I think, very poor advice when it comes to this deal. That money, if it goes to the Ayatollah, will go to fund terrorists trying to kill Americans and weapons that will be used to try and kill Americans.
If Bill Cassidy and Ted Cruz are against something, you know it's good. Like that's literally the reality. If they're against something, it's literally good. They only like shit that hurts people. I have never seen Ted Cruz say something that I agree with. Not a single time. That's actually crazy.
And it also appears to formalize a permanent role for the Islamic regime, controlling the Strait of Hormuz.
They've always controlled it. They've always controlled it. They demonstrated that control against our resistance. That's just a recognition of reality, so that hopefully American presidents don't make the same mistake in the future where they think that the Persian people don't control the Persian Gulf. It's in the fucking name.
It is difficult to see what possible benefit to America could come from that. And David Drucker, I'm curious, is it at all possible any voters would believe what we saw, which was the president trying to make it look like he would bomb Iran if they didn't take this incredible, I can't even call it a deal, because they're getting everything they want and more.
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll have to see how voters process this. I think, what we're seeing from Republicans on the Hill, I think you just had a good couple of bookends there, right? You have one United States senator who is speaking his mind about President Trump and the deal because he lost the primary after President Trump endorsed his opponent. And then we have Senator Ted Cruz, who spoke very candidly about the deal, right? But now we're back to the president whose name who shall not be named, right? We're back to Voldemort here. Or this idea that a very strong and decisive leader who will do things nobody else will do was somehow railroaded into this deal because he's getting very poor advice, right? So which is it here? I mean, either the guy knows what he's doing and is in charge of his faculties, or he's not. And it's indicative of what we're seeing across the broader right and not just on Capitol Hill, right? And we've talked about this before, but, there were so many Republicans in Congress and center-right thinkers who have believed that after nearly 50 years, the action President Trump took going to war against Iran with Israel was a courageous decision, was the right decision, and the United States needed to see it through, right? And they were very gratified by the president's policy here. And now they're going through the 35 stages of grief, which is, if this is true, it's going to be really bad. Well, I don't know if it's true because I haven't seen the text. I'm not going to react until I've seen the text. All right, well, I've seen the text.
Right.
And now that I've looked at the text, maybe it's really not so bad because, look, he did say he'll bomb them if they don't follow through. There are others who are just very honest about their disappointment, about their disappointment with both President Trump and the deal. But it's a real mixed bag politically. I'll just say, the president.
I think one of the things that's really interesting about this kind of liberal conception is there's no attempt to kind of address material reality, and they are purely in the realm of social fantasy. They're not even curious, hey, are global stockpiles going down? What is the condition? Was Iran prevailing? Is there a risk to the global economy? There's no measurement of even anything, absolutely none. Who finds this insightful? I need to converse with somebody who finds this insightful. I need to study their brain. I need to take slides of their prefrontal cortex and study it under a microscope. I need to see the fact that the dendrites don't have any connections. I need to see that the neurotransmitters are depleted. I need to study the brain mechanistically because you have to be fucking stupid. And there's gotta be a material cause for that level of stupidity to listen to this type of shit and think it's good.
It boxed himself in here because this is what happens when you don't make a public case for major military action. The president never asked for the support of the American people, for the support of the Congress, for support from our allies.
Guys, he should have asked Congress to rubber stamp it. If the process, calm like a Tom, thank you for the 20 bucks. If the process has been followed and we got the rubber stamps from the magic Congress, then the war would have been won. If only we had followed the process, we would have won the war. That would have changed abso-fucking-lutely nothing. But the process! There are certain videos that I like to go back to over and over and over again because they have made points. One of them is the alt-right playbook talking about when you go high, when you go low, when you go high, we go low. Where he talks about the liberal brain.
Highly flawed.
And I go back to this because it explains their brain so well. There's really nothing more that you could say. And it's this. Oh, there you go. The key to understanding liberals. I gotta show you this because it hits so right.
Is reductive. Human beings hold many patterns of thought simultaneously and slip between them depending on context. This is less the key to understanding liberals and more one pattern of thinking liberals often slip into. But this idea of the perfect system that can only spit out justice is how liberals tend to think about democracy. We can call this values-neutral governance, and you can see why it would appeal when you're trying to sum all the demands placed on a politician. Under this thinking, you don't need to engage with the needs and desires of your constituency, your donors, or even your opposition. Because if democracy is working, everyone deserving will get what they need as a matter of course. That's what democracy is for, to divine what is right out of a cacophony of different voices. It's okay for people, even people with power, to have bad ideas, because bad ideas will always be outnumbered by good ideas. Checks and balances. Hell, you can have bad ideas and it won't make any difference, provided you commit to obeying a just set of rules. Only justice will ever be produced by them. And you can see how utterly paralyzing it can be when half the participants of that system refuse to play by those rules. Values-neutral governance is an engine that only runs by mutual consent. Now, the system is supposed to be self-repairing. If the rules are broken in a way that it doesn't have specific contingencies for, you can write those contingencies. But you'd have to pass them through Congress or the courts. As in, you'd need the cooperation of the people violating the rules. All that's left then is to fix the system without their approval. But that's going outside the rules. That's thinking about ends. And to you, the system is morality itself. You can't go outside it and still behave ethically. If the problem is people breaking the rules, you can't fix that by breaking them further. At this point, the Democratic senator usually throws up both hands and says, fuck it then, I'm going to do what the Republicans should be doing. I'm going to follow decorum and look for compromise. I will not be responsible for the degradation of our governmental system. Maybe everything still goes to shit, but nobody could claim that I didn't do my job. And once upon a time, I think they genuinely believed that this was leading by example. But I don't think today they're under any illusions that this will right the vessel, appeal to Republicans' better nature. But Democrats keep doing it, because on some level they genuinely believe that even when it accomplishes nothing, following the rules to the bitter end is the noble thing to do. The captain goes down with the ship. I'm using poetic understatement when I say, this can be very frustrating. To us as citizens, the most important question is what happens next? Republicans break a rule, Democrats take the high road, and what happens next? In practice, the answer is always, they get what they want, but we get a philosophical victory. But when the questions that govern our lives are, will I get shot by police, or will my kid die in an emergency room for lack of funds, unless it's gonna get my kid a philosophical blood transfusion, values-neutral governance isn't useful. And being told to trust in a system that didn't meet our needs so good before it got very obviously broken and our representatives decided it was more honorable not to fix it is, pardon my Anglo-Saxon, a bunch of bullpucky. I'll say one thing for Republicans. They believe in something. It's a bunch of classist, racist, misogynist doolally, but they believe it, and they govern according to those beliefs. There is no contradiction in blocking a liberal judge and bullying Democrats to confirm a conservative one. They want to overturn the right to abortion, and will do whatever it takes to put a pro-lifer on the bench. It is fully consistent behavior. And the problem isn't that they break a bunch of rules along the way, it's that what they're trying to accomplish is wrong. But
And like, that is what the Democratic Party cannot ever understand or say. The Iran war is wrong. Attacking Iran was wrong. It was wrong to try to impose our will through violence without a, United Nations Security Council resolution, without a critical imminent threat, without that was wrong. It was wrong to fight a war for Benjamin Netanyahu. It's wrong to have sanctions. It's wrong. Getting congressional approval for it would not have made it right. It was a bad strategy, both for the goal of making America's empire stronger, but also morally. That is the whole point. And these fucking liberals, pieces of shit, continue to say the dumbest ass shit I've ever seen. The problem with the Iran war isn't the fact that the Democrats didn't get a chance to vote for it. The problem with the Iran war was the attacking Iran and assassinating an 87-year-old man in his home with his grandkids.
So when things inevitably bogged down because we were only willing to do so much militarily for understandable political reasons, the president didn't have any allies and friends with skin in the game who were there to back up the policy and see it through. And that's part of why he ended up looking for a get-out-of-jail-free card here. And it's why the vice president is selling this and not Secretary Rubio, a la after Venezuela.
Yeah, I mean, you've got J.D. Vance talking like Iran is Luxembourg. It's humiliating for him to be running around doing that. David Rode, we've all said that Donald Trump made the mistake early on of not telling the American people why we were going to war, not being clear. He finally settled, though, on what? A nuclear program. They can never have a nuclear program. What did Donald Trump say yesterday? I've already said, talked about the ballistic missiles. And what he's saying at this front is bad, really, as what's in the MOU. Because as it comes to ballistic missiles, the thing that our allies in that region are the most concerned about right now, Donald Trump said, well, if Saudi Arabia has ballistic missiles, well, my good friends, the Iranians should have ballistic missiles. How can you say, and he did say this, how can you say that the Saudis can have ballistic missiles when the Iranians can't? Why, that's not fair. And then on nukes, on the issue that he said was the key thing, they can't have a nuclear program. I wrote it down here. He said it's hard when their neighbors have nuclear programs and you're not letting them have a nuclear program for electricity and things like that. This is what the Iranians have been lying about for 47 years. They've been saying for 47 years, oh, no, we're not going to build a bomb. We're not going to. They've been saying that for half a century. So this is just for electricity. If the Saudis can have it for electricity, if Israel can have it, then we should be able to have nuclear power for electricity. Donald Trump is literally lifting the words from every Ayatollah that has ever run that country while building a nuclear program. So it's one of the reasons why the Israelis are horrified at the betrayal. Our allies in the region are horrified at the betrayal. None of them will say it, but they are. It's why Republicans on the Hill are horrified by the betrayal. It's why like-minded thinkers with Wall Street Journal editorial are horrified by the betrayal. Not just what he put on the MOU, which is about $500 billion in war reparations.
Do you see what I mean about these, the position that Joe Scarborough is announcing here is a position that's so outside the mainstream that I think a majority of Americans would vote to execute somebody who was advancing that. Like if they were saying like, do this policy of infinite war on Iran or execute the person that is advancing it, I think a majority of people would probably vote for the execution. And that's the kind of like tension we're in, where I am against that. Like, I don't want people executed just because they're warmongers, right? Like that would be outside of our system and our norms. And I don't agree with that, right? Like, I think people should be prosecuted according to the law, right? So I'm sure all of you agree with me. People smile if you agree. So that the law should be followed. But I think what worries me is that like Joe Scarborough, bro, you're way outside the mainstream. You're kind of like endangering yourself with these views. And if you study revolutionary ruptures in history, these type of people get dragged out of their palaces or their pet houses. It's concerning. I don't want that to happen.
Again, signed at Versailles. The bitter irony about
mentioning
that.
Versailles, but
also what he's saying, well, if America's allies have nuclear programs or have ballistic missiles in the region, then it just makes common sense to let the Iranians do it too.
It's extraordinary. There's the launch of the war, the management of the war, and even the way he's trying to spin this deal, I'm sure horrified some of his aides, what he said yesterday. The bottom line is that this is Donald Trump himself. I spoke with a former administration official, and in his second term, he has no large national security council. He doesn't really listen to any of his aides. It's a tiny circle, and he makes these decisions. He feels he has more foreign policy experience now as a second-term president. This MOU shows he does not. This is, I agree with Senator Cassidy. This is one of the largest American foreign policy blunders in decades, and this is Donald Trump's fault. His arrogance, bluntly speaking, and his complete misreading of the region and what it's like to go to war there.
Mark Polymeropoulos, take us to Tel Aviv this morning and what Bibi Netanyahu must be thinking, that he got his man in the White House and Donald Trump, that he went to the Situation Room, sold the war successfully. He thought that Donald Trump and the United States military would come in and finish off Iran, take out the regime. And now he sits here this morning with this memorandum of understanding anyway, with explicit language that says there can be no attacks on Lebanon. Israel has said that doesn't include us. We'll see what Donald Trump has to say to the prime minister. But where does all this leave Israel?
So the Israelis I speak with are in a state of panic. One former Mossad official said literally,
Why are they in panic? I thought that Joe Biden had no control over Israel. What do you mean? Why are they in panic? They could do all the war without the U.S., right? Why are they in panic?
I can't believe this is happening. But in some ways, they should have known better. And one analyst actually told me, look, you know, Benjamin Netanyahu decided to ride the tiger. That's Donald Trump. And the tiger just turned around and just bit him on the rear end.
He should have stayed with the reliable workhorse Joe Biden, the most Zionist president we've ever had. That's what they're saying. And you know what I'm saying?
Personally, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that the United States of America is being humiliated and is leaving an area that we had come to defend, and we've been defeated. Personally, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that the United States of America is being humiliated and is leaving an area that we had come to defend.
This is the former ambassador to South Vietnam who was forced to flee the embassy in a Chinook helicopter. And he's describing his feeling as he fled the U.S. embassy as North Vietnamese forces rolled into Ho Chi Minh City.
And we've been defeated. Personally, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that the United States of America is...
I just posted that on my... Where has socialism ever worked, you effing R-word? He's mad because I said this. I posted this. And I just gave him this little treat. I think it worked in North Vietnam. I don't know. It seems like it worked out for them. It's the fastest growing country in Southeast Asia. Seems like it's doing pretty well, you know?
And like many of us predicted he would, because Trump was no dedicated, savior. He was not the Messiah for Israel. He's too transactional. And let me just add one quick thing, Willie. Let's not forget, at the end of the Biden administration, if you calculate what President Biden did after October 7th, he gave the Israelis $18 billion in military aid, yet somehow he is seen as not a supporter of Israel. That was preposterous. And right now, I think the Israelis are realizing that Trump was not who they thought he was, and that this MOU actually puts them in a very precarious national security situation, particularly in terms of ballistic missiles and what to do about Hezbollah, a terrorist entity sitting on their northern border.
Monuments I read about in school. There's the Washington Monument, there's the Obama Monument, and there's the Vietnam War Memorial.
Hey, check out that Vietnamese guy giving the business to those Vietnam vets.
Scoreboard! Scoreboard! Oh, what happened to your friend? Hey, I know that guy. I kill him. He cried like a bitch. Vietnam undefeated.
They really are. They really are undefeated. Vietnam really is undefeated. There's really nothing more to say. I mean, they even got rid of Pol Pot. You know how people talk about like, oh, Pol Pot is like the most evil, genocidal communist. Who got rid of Pol Pot? The Vietnamese communists did. What a day, chat. What an amazing day. She's so cool.
All right, let's turn to Maine.
Okay, this is a little bit too long of a video, but Majority Report, they're just right. They're just fucking right. Someone needs to talk about Honduras Gate. There's so much there. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Bro, there's so many crazy stories going on right now. I definitely am not covering as much as I need to. There's so many crazy stories out there. Also, have you guys seen what happened to the reflecting pool? Like, I know we didn't talk about this story.
Donald Trump has spent...
But the reflecting pool, they like spent $20 million trying to fix it, and it's even worse than before.
At least $14.5 million on the reflecting pool. Now, remember, he used a pool guy that also does work for him at Mar-a-Lago and presumably his other hotels. And he overpaid dramatically to do the reflecting pool work so that down the road, he's getting free pool services for life, essentially. This is, in some ways, it's like a kickback scheme. And so Trump has the pool painted blue because it's going to look so much better. Meanwhile, the Obama administration put in a fairly sophisticated system to keep the algae from growing. Well, they ripped that out because that was Obama. And literally days later, after they had finally finished painting the pool, this is what we get.
I'm here at the newly renovated reflecting pool. It's painted American flag blue. And the Democrats are going to tell you, oh, there's green.
The Democrats are going to tell you the sky is blue, but I'm here to tell you it's green. They're gonna say, look out your window. It looks blue, doesn't it? But I'm going to tell you it looks green. Oh, they're going to tell you this water looks green, but let me tell you it's blue.
Algae, it looks so bad, but there's pool guys cleaning it up right now. No other president would do that, but President Trump is still cleaning it up.
Now, pause it. No, I want you to keep that up there.
Look at his suit. Look at the reflecting pool. Look at his suit. Look at the reflecting pool. I mean, this is actually us looking at a cult. The cognitive dissonance. The cognitive dissonance is fucking crazy. It's like painful to watch. This is actually like 1984 shit. The first command of the party shit. You have to deny the reality of your eyes and ears. Like, that's what they're actually doing. Like, they are actually doing that. Her shirt says fuck ice. Yeah. A, B, C, D, E, F, F, C, K, I, S, C. This woman has the most badass mask lesbian vibes I've seen in a while. She looks like she's about to push this motherfucker into the thing. This is Deborah. Deborah is Karen's younger sister. Okay? And she is ready.
Color is that guy's suit.
Oh my God. Brain celled. Brain celled. Holy shit, chat. We have a hype train. The top sub gifter, the top bit donor. They are the top of the hype train. She's someone I would call if I needed help moving house on short notice. This is somebody. She looks like somebody. Okay, I'm not going to even say anything more. Green bass base guy. Green base guy. Thank you for the 10 gifted.
Blue. Okay. What color is that person's cutoff T-shirt?
Black.
And what are the color of the letters?
Gray.
And in the fanny pack?
Yellow.
Okay. The reason why I asked,
thank you.
Yes. No. I just wanted to confirm that I'm not colorblind because that blue reflecting pool looks very, very green to me.
That looks deep, deep, deep green. Not even blue green.
I have seen
looks nice.
The most stagnant of ponds that have a less of a green hue. The reason why there are people cleaning up is because
the reflecting pool is so huge and shallow. Like, how do they think? Like, it's almost crazy that they think they can make it not. You'd have to put so much pool chemicals in that shit. Like, what the hell are we even doing?
All the algae. Let's hear a little more of this.
I may not mind the green part, but the reason it's green is that's the whole thing, Sam. But the reason that's green is because of the algae. No other president would do this. I mean, that's true.
That is true.
No other president would be prioritizing this right now. Yes, that's 100% true.
They've literally got people dumping gallons of hydrogen peroxide in there today.
It is. They created a swamp.
They
literally created a swamp.
They did it. They put a fresh coat of paint on.
Vio has brought me a charcuterie board with the biggest blackberries she's ever seen. Charcuterie. Thank you, Vio. They put peroxide in, yeah.
On the reflecting pool and created a swamp. Yeah. It is so poetic about Trump and Drain the Swamp. I don't know if I almost even believe that this is real life right now. I mean, maybe I'm still dreaming and the Knicks didn't actually win the championship.
The algae makes a great nori wrap.
Oh, honestly, you know what? They're doing this because RFK Jr. wants to do laps in the morning in his jeans. He wants to do laps in the morning in his jeans, and the reflecting pool was too clean for him. Yeah. I need a little bit more for my immune system.
You down a cup of this a day.
There's not enough fish in the reflecting pool.
you want to expose yourself to a little bit of meningitis. And what it does is it ends up providing you the enzymes to build muscle mass.
Look, guys, we know that most people don't want us to create algae and create a nest of attract mosquitoes at the reflecting pool, but Bobby really wants a place where he can do laps in the morning in jeans and be able to open his mouth underwater and just have minnows go directly in.
Yeah. It's a renewable source of protein.
Right.
I don't know what everybody's complaining about.
Ever heard about seaweed salad?
Yeah. A cup of this and some possum steaks. It'll be great for a week.
This is my sushi. God.
Catfish James, did you see the names of Peter Thiel's private group called Dialogue got leaked and Ezra Klein was on it? I did not see. I saw something about that on Twitter. Tomorrow, I think we're going to be talking about the funds that are going into abundance. Right? Is that did we book that?
That's correct. Yes.
And a tremendous amount of money going into abundance. And
9 figures. 9 figures. And I called it again. I was the first person to go after abundance. I had fights with people in DSA about how abundance was just neoliberalism again. Can you believe that? Can you fucking believe that? I think it's because I'm the only one who read the fucking book and comprehended it.
Concerns from my interview with Ezra Klein, notwithstanding his expertise on local zoning regulations in a couple of California cities, the reality of the abundance movement is that it is a tech bro funded attempt to roll back regulation. Just that's it. California resistance. Sam, Cuba next. That's, I mean, they may be twice burned, once shy on this. Iran didn't go exactly as well as he was told it was going to. Cuba might be much easier, though. I mean, Cuba is sort of like would be, you know, they're going to the Rubio's going into the Oval Office, going like, this is like, what was it? Where did we attack that Caribbean island during Reagan? Shoot, I can't remember the name.
The small one that is it? Does it start with an A? Jesus.
No,
no.
I can't remember. No,
I got that. Come on, that's pretty good.
There was like
communism.
Grenada, exactly.
Grenada.
Yeah. Incidentally, let's do number 9. If folks want to help, of course, you know, we covered the big flotilla to Cuba when Hassan Piker went. There are organizations, they are not 503c1s, that are going down and basically bringing medical stuff to Cuba. I
know that yeah, and this is really important stuff. I know that, you know, obviously we're talking about the China trying to restore the grid with solar. I know a Russian oil tanker got in. Has there been another one? Do I think Cuba will fight back harder than Venezuela? Yes. But I don't think the Cubans are really like, they're not, I don't know. It's very dangerous to try to invade Cuba, but at the same time, I don't know that the same conditions exist because they're so far away from, like, you know, Iran is on the other side of the world, whereas Cuba's right off the Florida coast. It's a lot harder to resist the U.S. there.
President Trump fixes the reflecting pool and a week later is green again, loaded with algae, sabotage, vandalism. I believe it. It's just really funny that it happened so fast. I genuinely thought this would hold out until like July 4th. You know what I mean? I thought it would at least hold out for like a month. No, this
algae is a single-celled organism. Their spores are everywhere. They're floating in the air. The moment you have a situation where they can thrive, which this reflecting pool basically is, they're going to absolutely explode.
is so perfectly representative of where we're at in the United States of America. Like everything that we are doing, everything that Donald Trump does turns to shit.
President Trump, though, has said he wants the pool
idiot.
to be blue, specifically what he calls American flag blue. So they're applying basically a waterproofing compound. It's also used in swimming pools or pipes. And as part of the compound, they're adding this blue color. But some Interior Department staffers have noticed issues with the waterproof coating that's being applied to the pool. They noticed bubbles, small holes, and also inconsistent colors. So
it's so shit. Oh, that's so funny. This is such a perfect example, dude. This story is everything to me. I mean, everything around us is going to shit. And Donald Trump's like, oh, we'll just slap a coat of paint on it and it'll look good. He is such a fucking real estate guy.
He's such a slumlord. He's such a fucking slumlord. It's crazy, man.
We'll just do the landlord special. Just slap a coat of paint. What do you mean? Fix it. What's actually wrong with the reflecting pool is that the plumbing underneath it is in a state of dire disrepair. It's very costly to fix. I guess Obama tried to put a new filtration system in it and it still failed. But Donald Trump didn't even try to do any of that. He just thought he could literally paint it blue and it would be fine. And now they're dumping hydrogen peroxide in the water. Y'all, not to be a huge nerd, but for the reflecting pool, you would need a minimum of about 8,000 liters of 12% hydrogen peroxide to reach the 50 parts per million concentration to kill algae. Is this what happens when you have zero scientists in your administration? President Trump fixes the reflecting
peroxide would immediately start the moment it's out into the environment. It'll start turning into water. The moment it's out of the bottle, it starts turning into water. Like even if you put it in there, it will react into water, and then the algae comes back. It literally does not work.
Pool a week later is green again, loaded with algae, sabotage.
Holy shit! Huge chunk of blue paint coming off the reflecting pool already. It seems like the hydrogen peroxide loosened things up. Yikes! The Trump administration is a complete and total failure. Don't they have any like theme park guys? Like, they don't have anybody in Disney they can call up and be like, hey, what do you guys do to like make your fountains look good? Like, they don't have anybody that they could call up. Like, they're so incompetent. It's actually insane.
How about that?
Like, one of the ways of being a leader and why Zohran Mamdani is so good at this is to be a good executive. It's not what you know. It's your ability to pick specialists who are actually good at their jobs. That's all you have to do, is be able to tell the charlatans from the actual experts that could do things. If you're able to do that, then you're going to succeed in everything. If you can't, you're going to be a big fucking failure. And Donald Trump is a big fucking failure. All right. Well, since unfortunately we couldn't have Dara Lisa on the stream today, I will close out today's stream with the new ad she just dropped.
Daria Lisa is what this moment calls for. I'm proud to support Daria Lisa for Congress.
Nueva York, Daria Lisa for Congress, for the people. Daria Lisa has stood on the front lines, taking on Trump's ICE against bad landlords, reuniting families, fighting for everyday New Yorkers. Adriano talks a big game, but he's backed by Trump donors and ICE contractors.
The same people who attacked me are now coming after Daria Lisa.
The choice is clear. Leaders in our community are for Daria Lisa.
Vote for a city you can afford. Daria Lisa.
God, he's such a fucking king, man. Like, I'm a Zohran fan. I wish he would do more. I think the thing about him is I want them to do it more. And I know they're picking their spots. So whenever I'm like, oh, I want you to do more, that's not even really a criticism. That's an encouragement. Like, I'm not criticizing AOC or Zohran by saying I want you to do more. I'm encouraging them to do more. I'm saying you could do more. I believe that you would have more impact. That's not even a criticism. I have my criticisms, but I can't help but like the guy. That's the whole point. You know how hard it is to be the mayor of New York and have people like you? This guy is like the best politician of our entire lives. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Guys, gals, non-binary pals, you guys are the best. I love you. Thank you for all the support. Things are happening. We're winning. And let's see here. Who is live? You know what I feel like, chat? I feel like he deserves the help. I'm going to help out our brother, iDubbbz. he deserves to have a little bit of love. You know, he seems like a truly empathetic soul. And the way that the internet, like the internet that he came out of, is full of the biggest scumbags on the planet. So there hasn't been enough good people around him. You know, we here at the Central Committee and the HASANABI and the Majority Report and the Secular Talk universe, we've created a space on the internet of supportive, kind people that are fighting for what's right. You have to understand that the space that we have, we slashed it out of the fucking, you know, jungle of hate. I had to stand up and fight people. I had to fight Destiny, Asmongold, Boyce Critical, fucking, what's his fucking name? The Swedish guy who said the N-word. I had to fight all those people out as a 200 viewer Andy. PewDiePie, yes. So in order for us to have the communities that we had to slash it out of the fucking jungle. So go ahead, say hi to iDubbbz for me. Here's all my links. Solidarity forever. Free Palestine. Socialism will win. And I'll see you all tomorrow.